Coffee works.
No. Yep, it does. Join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. First order of business be approved minutes from Monday, May 13th. As written, I know there's a little bit of discussion. Did everybody get their changes suited?
I can add it in there and put it up on the little thing if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you would, please.
Yep.
And you can use the word tardy or however.
I'm just gonna put that you arrived.
Okay.
Right?
Any motion to approve the minutes as rewritten?
Oh, so move.
I'll second that.
I'll abstain means I was not here, so all in favor. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-1. Move miscellaneous motions. Move to authorize and direct the vice chairman to sign Coffee County payroll notice for Nicole Landry, Sheriff's Office, emergency dispatcher, new hire. Subject to new hire IPP, full-time wage classification 35-1, wage $20.28, effective 5/15.
I'll move.
I'll second that.
McCurry's moved, Thompson seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Move to authorize and direct the vice chairman to sign Coffee County payroll notice for James Dubuque, technology summer intern, new hire temp, wage classification 5.1, wage of $15.09, effective 5/28/24.
I so move.
I'll second.
Thompson's moved, Curry seconded. Any discussion?
With this being part-time, do we need to put in there like maximum of 560 or 1,000 hours? We've got three motions here that are part-time help. So there's no mention
Yeah,
of
we
maximum.
normally do have that in there.
Yeah.
Don't we? I don't know.
Not
what-
to exceed 1,000.
That's the normal
Yeah.
summer internship, if you will, not to exceed 1,000.
Do you want me to add that in there?
Please.
I think it needs to be Casey.
Yeah, I'd still stand my motion or second or whichever it was. Yeah.
So
my
the change
motion,
is
I
not
guess.
to exceed 1,000 hours. Thompson moved, and Curry seconded. Approving changes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4. Move to authorize and direct vice chairman to sign Coffee County payroll notice for Larry Trester Recycling, light equipment operator, full-time, wage classification 30-3, wage of $19.87, effective 5/20/24.
I'll move.
Thompson's moved,
I'll second.
Beats seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Move to authorize and direct the vice chairman to sign Coffee County payroll notice for Robert Foster, noxious weed, labor, temp. This is a temporary. Do you want to add
Yeah, I think we need to
1,000
add
hours as
1,000
well?
hours.
Sounds good.
So move to authorize and direct chairman, vice chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Robert Foster, noxious weed, labor, temp, wage classification 5.1, wage of $15.09, not to exceed 1,000 hours, effective 5/20/24.
Also move.
Beats moved,
I'll second.
Thompson seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Move to authorize and direct the vice chairman to sign Coffee County payroll notice for Ellie Shoemaker, Coffee County attorney, Summer intern, new hire, wage classification 5.1, wage 1509, part-time, 3 days a week, hours not to exceed 1,000, effective 5/20/24.
Also move.
I'll second.
Thompson's moved, McCurry seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. That is to the end of our miscellaneous motions. Ryan?
You're
Get this over with. And I apologize, I don't have any look-ahead schedules. I didn't have time to print them off this morning. But I'll make it short and sweet. As you can see out there, we've got stairwell towers going up, some interior block walls or structural walls. In the upcoming weeks, you'll start seeing structural steel go up as we, I think the first week of June is scheduled. We'll set the first sequence of that. But other than that, you're just going to be seeing a lot of block being thrown up. So
Not much has changed from the last one you presented in?
not too much. No, not really.
No, that's
I just didn't. I was on vacation last week. I had to do a little fishing, so I had to take care of
Got any
some
luck?
important.
take care of your.
We did all right.
property.
We did all right. Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
It was kind of slow. Water's high, but it was falling, so we did all right considering the circumstances. But you guys have any questions for me?
You may have to work around a little moisture this week, that's all, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little muddy out there now. We're trying to clean that up and take care of that, but as what I see, Wednesday may be a little shot of rain, but Friday, we switched to a 4-10 schedule. That's what the Masons are working, and everybody's gonna be, so on Fridays, if you see not a whole lot going on, that's because everybody's working 10-hour days. We might have some people in here on Fridays working a couple hours, but, for the most part, we're gonna switch to a 4-10 schedule, so.
Okay.
If you guys see that, we're not slacking off, we're just working a little extra during the, Monday through Thursday, so.
Okay.
But you guys got nothing for me, I'm headed back. So,
All right.
thanks, guys.
you.
Yep.
9:10, Coffee County Hospital Administrator Jobin. Morning, sir.
How are you?
Morning.
Good, good, good. I have a few people with me, as you can see. I think everybody probably knows Jeff Clark. He is our vice chair. We also have Perry, who is our treasurer, and then Stacy Augustine. Jeff wanted to speak a little bit before I jump in here, so we'll let him, if you don't mind, jump in. Steve Hopkins, our chair, is out of town today, so he was unable to be here. So I'll let Jeff jump in.
The lucky one here.
All right.
This vacation thing's overrated. I just wanted to say a couple things before Jobin presents things. I think this healthcare is an animal that I don't think you're a small business owner, and I know you've ran one, don't know your vocation, but I certainly am. And 9 years ago, when I was blessed to be on the board, I'm thinking, why aren't we making money? What profit margin, just like we all do. Yours will be fuel and yours will be rebar cost and whatever. I'm looking at hardware and lumber and I'm thinking, why can't this animal make money? I'm here to tell you that there is no way to make money in healthcare. There are so many, we are attested to CMS, all these rules and regulations. And I can tell you, Jobin and the staff can't get any tighter. There's just no way to do it. They've had people retire, they put them together. There is no stone unturned. I think I talked to Don, he was at one of the meetings one time, even down to copy paper. It just can't get any tighter. And even his predecessor, there's just no way to make money in healthcare. It's a tight ship. And so I will tell you though, everybody talks about the nuclear plant being a draw to this community. Healthcare is a draw to this community. That's the reason my parents moved here. It's coming from a different county, born and raised in. It's a big deal when you have to go to the doctor. Here, we just run down to our local hospital. And so, with that being said, I do think that back to all your areas that is a reason to fund this hospital. And I know looking at it outside, and I was the same way, I'm thinking, why do we keep pouring money into this thing? Where's this money going? It's not in salaries. We're not even the 50th percentile of what we pay our health. That's easy to look at when you look at that. These people make too much money, or they're not doing their job, or we have too many people. I can tell you from a small business owner, that's not happening at this hospital. So I just keep an open mind. I know it seems like the hospital always comes back, where is this money going? I can just tell you from a small business owner's perspective, it's not being wasted at that hospital. And if you have a question, come to the financial meetings at the hospital. I mean, there's all kinds of trainings, but Big Brother, with this healthcare thing, we didn't want to spend, $1 million on this. You have to be in healthcare. I mean, it's all mandated and it's out of our control. But we do have a nice hospital there, and I just want you to keep an open mind when it comes to question things. That's great, but sometimes it just is what it is. We do the best we can, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Well, Jeff,
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you putting that out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. I mean, I think it is something that a lot of people don't realize what a difficult position they are probably in. And hopefully it comes off that I've been a big supporter of Coffee County Hospital. I'm the one that pushed for forgiving half
Yes,
of
sir.
that $3 million. I'm still in favor of forgiving the other half. I mean, I know we also, I think, blessed when they wanted a mill levy increase to
Yes, sir.
generate another $2 million. So I think having a hospital is very important here. Just letting you know,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I appreciate you being there.
Well, I tell you, as a small business owner, you look at these things and it's just easy to look at it and go, why aren't we making any money? So you start looking at the ancillary items and all these things. It's like we have to keep so much. We have to keep this advanced computer system. All these things, and we have to keep people coming back. So the MRI machine was a big cost, but it filters people back to us. Once they go away, just like retail business,
You won't get them back.
they don't get them back. Yes, sir. And so you have to. But I can tell you in full faith that they can't do any more as cost savings in that hospital to keep it going than what it is. And we have a nice hospital. People move to Burlington and Coffee County for that health care. One reason.
And great staff.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And it's just, an animal might not be the correct word, but it is. It's just a animal, this healthcare.
Right.
And in lieu of going to socialized medicine, I mean, it's,
Well, I think sometimes we could get hung up on, okay, this is a business, and it is a business, and you're handling lots of dollars. But in my mind, yes, I know they've made changes, buy in bulk, get all these things, all the inputs as cheap as you can. But it comes down to, in my mind, that this is a public service too. So it's not a fair expectation to think that it's going to always cash flow.
yes, sir.
That's my thoughts on it. I'm really happy it's here and support it.
It is, and all the questions. I mean, I know for a long time when I was first on the board, it seemed like the commission and the hospital, it's nobody. I mean, they wanted to ask questions, but yet we weren't. I mean, they're open meetings. I mean, come to them to see how much we have to buy, and cost reimbursement is something back if you don't follow the rules of Medicare and Medicaid and all of these things. And of course, a small business owner, cash flow is paramount in our businesses.
Right.
That's out the window with healthcare. By the time it goes through all the steps, it's
Because you're waiting for money all the time.
yes, sir. And the vendors keep wanting paid. So revenue's a little bit different cycle in healthcare, but I appreciate all of you, and feel free to ask me any question.
Look for Loyola and Garnett, that
Yes.
St. Luke's, I won't say bailed them out, but they're a part of St. Luke's.
Yeah.
Fort Scott and Fence.
Yes, sir. And they just closed a big hospital in Dallas this morning. Filed bankruptcy.
We appreciate all you volunteers and everyone. It's a lot of work into this.
I better get set down. I'm gonna get in trouble with the boss. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, they did give us 25 minutes. The last time I was here was in March. I had to come back twice, remember, because I spoke too much. But we're glad. Jeff and I did not tag team this. It's going to sound like it. We didn't even prep. So,
1 minute before I ask.
Yes. He goes, you want me to go first?
Well, you did well.
He did great. He speaks very well. We're very excited and for Jeff to be on the board. And I did quiz him last week, previously, if he'll continue on after this year, because he's up for reappointment. So
Yes.
we hope he does. So again, I was here on March the 25th and gave a pretty in-depth update of 2023 and the first 3 months of 2024. So I do have today, which we're here for, is the county budget requests for the 2 departments that we have, which is the hospital and the ambulance service. But before I give that to you, I kind of just wanted to touch base, just a little few updates since the last time we met, which I don't have a lot. But last time I was here, excuse me, we talked about we were just starting our audit. So we're right in the middle of that. We're actually towards the end of our audit with our accountants, and so all that is due by the end of the month, and our cost report, which is due to CMS by the end of the month as well. As like always, you'll get a copy once we get those. We have, I think, 10 days to provide that copy to you guys, and so, and then the next time that we present the hospital, that we'll go over that more in depth with you, like we've done previous years as well. So we're in the middle of that. A lot of information needed from our accountant. They come and spend a week with us, which they've done that already, and then we're just a lot of emails and calls back and forth. So we're wrapping that up. Like I said, by the end of the month, that will be finished. I know in my 3 years, I've talked about the meadows a lot because of Dawn, as you said, the first 1 or 2 times I was here, we had to stop the bleeding. The meadows was definitely bleeding. Our assisted living. When I got here, we had 7 residents. I'm very, very happy to say that we have 25. We are maxed out pretty much. We have 26 is what we're licensed for. We have 24 apartments, but we're licensed for 26 people. And so we have two bedroom apartments, and then you can also, 2 people can be in 1 bedroom apartment as well. We do have 1 open apartment, and we are continuing, as we've always, to visit with potential residents. And as I mentioned before, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 visits with a potential resident, and numerous calls and numerous follow-ups, because it is such a life-changing event for only that resident, but the family members as well. So we're very excited there. If you remember, in 2021, we were losing over $500,000 in our assisted living. We're definitely in the black this year. It looks good, and we'll continue that. I do want to, and I know I've said this every time I'm here, I do want to say we're half the rates of anywhere else around. We've had 2 rate adjustments in my 3 years, which was the first in like 8 years. So we continue to monitor that and watch that as we go on.
You plan on doing that again this year then?
I don't know yet.
I know it's probably a tough call, but it sounds like maybe something's has to, maybe? I don't know.
Right.
I know you.
There's regulations we have to follow. We have to give notice, a certain amount of notice to our residents.
That's right.
And we also have to, there's a percentage of what we can increase. It definitely is on my list to think about, for sure.
But Joe, you were talking about the low numbers, you were going through COVID at that time too.
Correct, and that did,
And that, I think that really dinged it.
it did. Assisted livings across the nation
Right.
saw that, across probably the world. Definitely assisted living and some nursing homes, as people took their loved ones out because they didn't want to visit with them through a window
Right.
or on a phone like we did with my grandma.
Right.
Just so, speaking of assisted living, I just wanted to circle back to the land. We purchased that land in 1991. We developed that land, and we also have maintained that land. And so over the years of keeping it mowed, the regulations are 10 inches or less, we definitely keep that property mowed. And we would hope that the proceeds from the sale of the 4.9 acres would come towards us again, or come towards us just like we did with the sale of the nursing home. So I just lay that out there, that we would hope that continue to be on your list when you go through the steps of what to do with the proceeds of that sale of the 4.9 acres. And then, as Tom brought up the loan, I did have this here. Tom and I did not visit with each other either before this meeting, but
No, it's still there, and I still
it's still there.
don't want it to go away for you.
And you all know that I'm going away. I leave in August, and Stacy, who's with me today, Stacy Augustine, who's been with us for I think 12 years now, in a variety of roles, over quality and risk. I think that is one of the main reasons where we are with our quality and risk is Stacy and her passion and love for healthcare, but also quality and outcomes. She's been in the chief operating role, the number 2 position, for 2 years now, and she'll be a great, easy transition, great to fill in this position. But I would love to have the loan removed off of her shoulders. If you remember, Dawn, as I said earlier, you talked about stopping the bleeding one time and tightening the ship. We've looked at our FTEs when someone wants to retire, or do we replace that position? Can we wear multiple hats? And so when I got here, we had 267 FTEs, and we're down to 198 FTEs. I think we've done a pretty good job at whittling, like Jeff indicated. We've whittled quite a bit. I don't know if we can continue to whittle. Sometimes I think then we have to reevaluate how many hats someone's wearing, and can they do all their jobs appropriately. And we'll still monitor, and we still do, when someone wants to retire or they move away. Do we need that position anymore? Can we absorb it somewhere else? And we continue to do that. I think most recently when I was here in March, our materials director retired after 42 years, and we absorbed that with someone else, that position. So we'll continue to monitor those. But over the 3 years, I don't want to forget about the quality. We've had amazing quality. We've won many awards, as you all know. We brought in general surgery, a transitional care model program. Our womb care program and outpatient infusion is very busy. It's very robust. You've heard me mention before, we've sent Dee Dee off, our womb care and infusion nurse, to get a national accreditation and certification. And so we've made some changes there. And as Jeff mentioned earlier, our MRI, we brought in the state-of-the-art MRI. We did add some coils to it that we previously didn't have with breast and prostate to help keep those patients here and not have to travel. And that's definitely paid off, as I indicated last time we was here. And I don't quite remember the percentages, but I think our MRI volume's up by 33%. Overall, imaging volumes are up by 12 or so %, if I remember right, from last time we met to previous years. So counting this month, we'll make our installment, because if you remember 2 years ago, we decided to go on like a payment plan of 2 payments per year. And that first year we made an extra one. So this time will be, I think, 5 payments. This will be our 5th payment this month.
Where does that leave the balance, Joe? Do you know?
Not offhand. It's $31,000 roughly
Twice a
year.
I don't recall, Steve, exactly what it is right now.
I'm going to say around 1.3, 1.35, something.
Probably, yeah. Probably with the 5
It's
payments.
in that area.
I was going to say the 5 payments probably 1.2.
Give or take.
Yeah.
So is there interest incurred on that? I mean, how?
No,
It's just, okay.
no. It was just a straight out loan a decade or so ago.
Probably so. And then COVID, you paused it.
COVID, we paused it, and we actually wound up forgiving half the $3 million and went up 1.5, and so since COVID, that's what it's whittled down to, is about 1.2, 1.25, somewhere in there. I think that's correct. Motions have been thrown out there to forgive it before, but just, walk away. But
Well, we would always, love the decision to be made if we could ever forgive that loan and just move on. I know that the 2 payments a year isn't much, but it's just something that continues to be on each of the individual executive teams who come in here, shoulders to worry about. But moving forward, that's of course up to the E team after me.
Tom, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What was the loan originally for? I mean, what was the circumstances?
Jeff would have a better idea.
In as carried
A
on.
couple decades ago.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
that was,
right.
and there were some problems
There
there
was.
at that time.
Yes.
Some bad knocks and some misadministration at the hospital back then, but not necessarily now. It's just so hard to get caught up
To get
when you're
caught up.
talking, even though that's not much of a payment twice a year. It's just like you're just, you don't need that. If we're gonna keep moving forward, we just don't need that right now.
Right. It's like an anchor on them,
It is.
in my opinion.
Yes, sir.
Myself, I don't have any trouble reevaluating. I mean,
I think
I still hold businesses responsible for their debt. I mean, I've been in that atmosphere all my life, but we're in a little bit different program here, a little bit
We
different
are.
situation.
That's,
And I don't have any problem at all reevaluating.
yeah.
Whether that would bring anything to a plus to the hospital, I'm not sure.
I think
We just need to see the numbers.
I think we need to see the numbers.
See the numbers?
I do think we need to address it.
And I appreciate that, and
I look at the healthcare industry this way, and maybe my thinking, it's probably way different than anybody else's, but I own a plumbing business for a short time, at the same time I own a construction business. I know it's not really comparable, but yet it is. Because when you need a driveway or a patio, you've actually got the money, because you know you're gonna want one. But when you own a house, you don't call it, or whatever, and the hot water heater goes down, you're not planning on a hot water heater.
Right.
No more than you're planning on cutting your foot out in the yard while you're mowing and then have to go to the hospital, and you don't have health insurance, you'll pay for it, but yet you need the hospital. I mean, I compare it to the same,
Yeah, and that,
if that makes sense.
yeah, yes, sir, and
So, I mean, that's where you guys get short.
we have to see that guy with the cut foot. I don't know how many people know that, but we can't.
You can't turn
When
them
they
back.
go, we have to see them, and we're not reimbursed for near what it cost us. That's Big Brother.
And then you can also, and I've heard this before in here too, that, well, people just need to pay their bills. Well, it's fine and dandy if you can afford to, because but not everybody's living the same lifestyle.
we provide a variety of opportunities to go on payment plans or pay all, if you can pay cash now, we take a percentage off. I mean, we do all kinds of, we work with the local bank on providing health assistance there. And so we definitely, all healthcare hospitals
I've
provide.
been on both sides.
And I agree with Dawn about it being a business, but
It's
like
a
I said
different-
before, it's also a public service.
It is
in my
public
eyes.
service.
You know, and it's a
not
great
like,
one.
yeah, and it's not like, when we ran our businesses, we could adjust our, I mean, you were always looking at the bottom line, and so you could make those adjustments and you could choose who you did business with, and it just, it's a big difference.
I don't know what we'll write off for sure last year regarding bad debt, which means people don't have enough insurance, they don't pay their bills, they don't have no insurance. We usually write off about $1.5 million every year, if not more.
I was gonna ask how, when you get judgments, and I see your name in the paper, so what kind of percentage do you, I mean, just because you have a judgment doesn't mean that you're gonna get paid.
Correct.
Isn't that right?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
That's when we write it off, and it's over a long period of time of many attempts to either get with the local bank, the programs we have with the local bank, or our own programs. We have a program you can pay minimum $50 a month for a long time, for as long as you have, until you pay it off. And oh yes, there's a lot of opportunities. At that point, it goes to the collection companies that help us,
Sure,
and they work very hard on trying to get that fixed.
yeah.
I think next time, for sure, we'll revisit the loan, we'll bring the information, where we are currently, some details there for you. I appreciate that.
We'll have the audit report available for us at that time. too.
We will, yes. We hope we should. We should. It's due very shortly. Okay, so the budget request form, which I will pass around. So I think, I don't know if Steve and Wade have seen this yet. I'm sure you've seen others by now. So ours comes in two categories, the ambulance services on the first page and then the hospital on the second page. And then you saw this, the third page in March. We've done this format long before me. I know it's kind of small print, but I wanted it all on one page. This is our capital request needs. And you can see this year we're already we won't be able to do this whole year of $808,000. But if you remember when I was here in March, we talked about on that third page what was in red is what is most urgent. If you can barely see the purple tint, that is something that we've already had to order. So if you remember and these are unexpected, most of the red is unexpected, unplanned problems or equipment, things that we need to update, replace. We've been over the last 2 years having quite a few AC issues, as most of them are over 25 years old. But you can see our AC units, as you probably already know, as you can see down towards the bottom, 2 units roughly together about $250,000, $230,000. They're bigger units, as you can imagine. Unfortunately, there's such a lead time still, a long lead time, that the one that's for the ER was ordered last August, I think it was, September. It's coming this month, so.
And that was ordered September last year.
Correct. Now, the one for the 200 hall, we're going to all have to keep our fingers crossed. It was ordered 3 months ago, 4 months ago?
A little longer.
Yeah, 6 months ago, and we're hearing, oh yeah, it was into last year. We're hearing maybe August, September. And so we're keeping our fingers crossed there as well. So you can see a variety of other issues with the sewer line, for example, underneath the hospital, which is in a crawl space, so that's hopefully helps a little bit. It's been a problem long before I've been here, but it's getting worse, so we have to address it. We're in the middle of getting bids for that now. We've received 1 bid so far on that, roughly $60,000 for the sewer line. Unfortunately, if we don't get it fixed and something would happen, we have to have water, and we have to have flushing stools, and we have to be able to process our equipment in the OR. So if something would happen, we'd have to close down like the OR and things like that for the day. We do know that during the replacement of this sewer line that we will have to work real closely with the different departments to make sure that we can have flushing toilets and things like that appropriate for our patients, and what we do is in cooking in the kitchen and things like that. So nothing has changed otherwise, meaning the request for the county support on both pages regarding the ambulance support and the hospital support has not changed from previous 3 years I've been here. It's the same as it was before, so no additional requests at this time.
You know, even though, Joe, if the ambulance and the hospital kind of all fits, kind of goes together.
It does, yes.
Absolutely. But if I recall right, the ambulance by itself, with our contribution of $1 million, ends up $600,000 or $700,000 in black. Should we go ahead and put $2.5 million in the hospital, and we'll put $500 in the ambulance, so that way it wouldn't show it
You know, for
like
us,
it is?
yeah, I think it doesn't matter either way for us.
Okay.
We make it work.
I'm just trying to make
Yeah, I
it
hear
look
you.
as good as it actually is.
I see what you mean. And either way, I mean, it doesn't really matter for us. It kind of goes back and forth.
So we see that this audit we'll be seeing here in a month or whenever.
Yes.
We'll be able to take a look at that.
Correct.
Sometime. And that may be something I want to take a look at, because the ambulance, you know, it's pretty much in the black, but I remember right, 700 or 800.
Yeah, my first thought was 300, but
Yeah.
I can't quite remember.
I don't recall exactly.
Yeah. Well, you're pretty good at numbers, so I do listen to you.
That gets you in trouble.
Yeah, give me a little trouble. So I don't remember the process on this. I'm sorry, I don't know.
So it's the same request as
Correct.
last year?
I will be very honest. I thought of this for over a week and over the weekend, and was in my office yesterday trying to think. You know, it would be nice to ask for a couple hundred more thousand. We have definitely a heavy year ahead of us. We just came off of a heavy year regarding lots of capital needs that weren't planned. But I feel if you know, it was important maybe for me to maybe leave it as it is, and let's focus. I know it's minor in some ways, the loan, forgiving that loan, and then the proceeds of the Meadows land. I feel like two areas that I would rather see happen than additional support.
I think at the last meeting you were talking about trying to come up with a little better facility for EMS as far as housing or
The living quarters.
living quarters.
Yes.
So where does that stand, or is it on hold right now, or?
No, we've updated the current living quarters as best we could.
Right.
We took out the Murphy beds and we've added, there's like 3 in one room, 2 in one room. We've kind of split them up a little bit better now. Updated appliances last year, carpet, things like that. So that looks good. We have applied for a grant, and we don't hear about that until this summer.
Oh, okay.
And what that might look like. And so we do have the clinic across the street, that old clinic across the street that we mostly use for storage now. I mean, that's all it's used for now. I know.
I think the last time you said it was pretty full.
Correct. And we just need to get some dumpsters in and take it out. And we've had a couple people, as I mentioned, I think last time as well, that's approached us of purchasing that property, and even somebody recently is requesting maybe to rent that property. And there's a lot of work ahead of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if there's enough space there for a living quarters that's 2 stories. We have sketches for that. Sleeping and bathrooms are upstairs, office, living area, like a kitchen, and is downstairs with the 2 bays next to it. I don't know if there's enough room there.
I was just curious how the progress is going on that, or what your plans are.
We've pretty much done all we can with the current situation.
With what you got.
Yes. We've even turned an old office that was an office area into another sleeping arrangement. So we'll divide it up a little bit more.
Sure.
Yeah. So we're hoping some grants come out this year.
I do too.
That is all I have today. Any questions for me?
Thanks for your update, Joel.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Just I think.
For the budgets, we will, that's all it is.
Right, I think that you guys approved them all at once, so I can
Yeah.
check with Angie real quick.
They're due by
August, September.
correct, and they're due to you by the end of this month.
Right,
Is what I
right.
think. So, yeah.
By the end of this month or by the end of June?
I think the end of June, but yeah, somewhere around there. We have to
Right,
present them
right,
to you. Yes. Yeah.
So, as far as this,
Yeah, I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
I'm fine with
Just
this.
leave it.
Okay.
I don't think any of us will have any problem with this,
Sure.
and we'll make the final determination, final decision.
When you all-
Here in June, July.
All right.
I think if we was gonna say no, we'd talk about it now, but it's, as
No,
far as I'm
no,
concerned.
that's not what
As far as I'm
I'm
concerned.
referring to, the loan,
Yeah.
that's what I'm referring to.
Oh, the loan part. I would probably like to have a 5-member board. Not saying it'd make any difference in the discussion or determination, but something like that, I think we ought to have a 5-member board here at that time. That's my thought.
All right. That's all I have.
all right.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank
Good
you.
day, guys. Well, you are next, and we have like 20 minutes before we gotta go into
Okay,
candidacy of votes, so just
no problem.
heads up on that. If we have to cut you short,
Who's starting the timer?
it's scheduled for 10, so I'm assuming we have to be punctual on that.
And not that we couldn't bring you, if you weren't done,
That
You-
should be fine.
we just gotta do that at that time.
Okay, no problem.
How you doing, Amanda?
I'm good, how are you guys?
Good.
Good. So you got some more rain this morning, did you have storms last night too?
We do.
Yeah. Did you guys already get the appropriation request we sent over?
I gotta be
They
an
have it on
email.
their tablet.
Okay, would you like paper or?
Please. I've got,
Some like it, some don't.
I've got it in the email, it's hard for me to read. It's tiny script.
Sure. Do you like that? Am I losing all my stuff?
Everything fell off.
Thank you.
No problem.
Well, if I can keep it together, everything will go smoothly. How's that? Okay. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's always good to see everybody. You're probably getting lots of requests for appropriations. So, I already came in probably about a month or so ago to just kind of talk about what we were up to in 2023 and how we finished the year and kind of what we were looking for 2024. So all those things kind of go into that request for appropriations this year. You know, I usually try to talk a little bit about how we come up with our ask. This year, you know, we, in the past, have really looked at where are all the counties as far as being close to the same average as far as how it kind of attributes up to the percentage of clients we see for each of those counties. And this year, we really looked at just adding a 3% across the board to each county what they were already getting. So not in total, but per each county. And so for you guys, it looks like we got $99,000 last year. That stayed at the same rate since 2022. And so this year we're looking at adding just under $3,000 to that request for that total of $102,000. And really just a reminder for those funds, you know, we're a nonprofit, private nonprofit. We do get some state dollars. There's grant dollars to really look at the underinsured and help enforce those individuals we serve that don't have insurance or are underinsured. So much like you just heard from the hospital, we're required to serve people regardless of their ability to pay. And so, you know, we do a lot of write-offs when it comes to the services that we provide. And so I have some other stats if you're interested in hearing that. You guys make up about our third highest percentage of population that we serve of the 7 counties. So we're seeing, we saw 310 clients, and we talked about some of those numbers last year. But we are seeing growth in both the SED and STMI, which are those high-risk individuals that are adult and child who are more at risk for removal from home, hospitalization, and just more intense needs. So we're providing them with much more of the wraparound type services of therapy, case management, attendant care, peer support, you name it, all those different things. And so with that too, we're also seeing an increase in the underinsured across the clients that we're seeing. Now a lot of that has to do with COVID and the state doing the unwinding project, which kind of took people off of their CAN care, the MCO, and the insurances that the state provides that they hadn't touched for a while. So usually you have to reapply. With COVID, they left it alone, and so we had several people come off of their insurance that they previously had been receiving. And then, unfortunately, with Medicaid not being expanded, those individuals kind of stay stuck in that gap that aren't insured. And so we did see those numbers increase for sure. Biggest thing for our counties that we're seeing is some of the write-offs that we're doing because of the services we've added. So the jail liaison position that we've talked about. We've got our mobile crisis unit that's going around and seeing individuals, we're meeting them where they're at to try to divert kind of more long-term or more crises type situations. And so those things typically are not getting reimbursed. Definitely the jail liaison, the individual that's working with law enforcement. Trainings that we're doing just recently, last week or the week before, we had a few people come up and do some training with law enforcement, just trying to make sure that our partnership is strong and that we've got good communication going, and then also offering mental health training and understanding kind of the processes and things behind those contacts. So lots of things happening. I think I reported last time we did purchase a building in New Strawn, and our staff are going to use it for their summer kids group. And then after that, we will be trying to do a campaign and talking to community members and such about how to raise some funds for that to get it where we need it to be so that we can have it as a full-fledged office moving forward.
You still have your offices down here?
We do, yep, so we're still renting those. Yeah, until we know what we need out of that other building and how we can get it
That
kind
would
of
be
fixed
the
up.
eventual plan, would be
You know, I'm not sure we're for sure. Definitely we'd be using both for now and then
Okay.
reevaluating if we need both.
Yeah.
One of the things we've seen is we had a 27% increase in services last year, 24% increase in staff, and so one of the unintended consequences, even though we already needed more space, is that
Have
you need more
two
space.
buildings, yeah.
And so we haven't made those decisions.
You rented the one at New Strawn, is that correct?
We purchased the one in New Strawn,
Okay,
so we
okay.
will be renovating it.
Okay,
It needs a lot of
and you're renting this
updates,
one?
and we have the one in town we're renting.
Okay.
Yep, so.
Is there grant money for when you purchase a building like that?
Yep, so we anticipate writing a strong grant to the Jones Foundation. It's been a very supportive foundation for us in the past. And last time when we spoke to them about our campaign in Lyon County, they were very adamant about wanting to be equal in how they helped us in our different counties, and being Coffee County being one of the counties they serve. And so we feel very strongly that they're going to support that. They will cover about 50%. And this is a much smaller project than what we saw in Lyon County, but we feel good. So we'll have to raise the other 50% of the purchase and renovation.
They've got lots of disposable income.
Yep.
I mean,
So,
that's great.
yep.
Carl, do you wanna weigh in on something?
I just want to weigh in on the fact that they have Lucas moving, and see, I don't know if we have some assistance.
Oh, for development.
Yes, but anyway, they do, I want to verify with them that they do, these called me at least 4 times in the last year asking for suggestions on who to contact in Coffee County with the help on grants, and that they're actively seeking them and doing them. And I just want to make sure, and thank you guys for the support that you put towards for mental health, especially for mental health first aid training. It's been a tool that I've learned from Crosswinds that I've used in my personal life when I've been in different situations around anywhere.
Yeah.
Last time I used it was in Oklahoma City down at the hospital when my son was there delivering a baby. It was just somebody was distressed and they needed some help, and just sit down and help them, but it was the skills I learned from mental health first aid.
Yeah, it's a
Very
great
good,
program for your
yes.
community. Thank you, Carl. We do have a strong development team. That's something that we've put together over the last few years. But definitely are looking at all those kind of natural and intrinsic community opportunities before we, kind of go and ask people individually, because we know that it's a hardship for lots of people. But we feel very strongly about what we're doing, and we have a lot of people out there supporting and recognizing the impact that we have. So feel very confident we'll reach those goals.
So how does it, as far as people paying for services, I've had some employees that I've referred there.
Uh-huh.
So how does that work if they don't have the money?
Yep, so we have lots of things. So because we have to provide those services, we have a sliding fee scale, so we can look at their household income and determine by that what percentage they have to pay. So our lowest is like a $9 charge versus the top being $110 for therapy.
Is that the,
That would be for therapy. So there's a range, you look at case management's going to be different, which not everybody qualifies for. Emergency, a lot of times those are just written off, to be honest. We can send a bill and try, but those aren't always the most opportune time for people to want to do that. And then for ongoing therapy too, we have an internship program, and so we have our interns who we don't bill for, so people see them for absolutely free when we're utilizing that service. And then like the jail liaison, that's a charge, we pay for that salary, and that's a free service to the
So it's very
county.
flexible then as to
Yep.
what their financial
We do not
needs
want
would be.
a bill to be a barrier for somebody to receive services.
Right.
Access is a big thing, and
Yeah.
we just can't be a barrier.
My family myself, it's a very good program.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, we're very proud of what we do. I'm excited to see the next year, and, we talked a little bit about it last year, and I know you guys are on time crunch, but, we're starting substance use treatment. We have to have a license for each building that we actually provide that over, so we have to have a fire marshal review and approve our building, which is harder to do when you rent, and so we're working on that with our landlord, but people are still can access that, whether it's through televideo with a provider that's not, in the building here, or going to our other offices that have that license. So that's a big deal too.
Well, I guess for me, it's like, are we looking at here 3% in a 2-year period? I mean,
yeah, I don't have any problem at all with this. I think it's a service well served.
Well, we appreciate the support, and we're excited. We've got 3 clinicians up here now, so our team up here is growing. So you're going to, I think, see more and hear more, and we continue to be in all the schools. And I hope we're, working with law enforcement, hoping to be part of the new jail and all the things they're doing. So
and this is part of,
so
to
we
me,
appreciate.
this can help save us money on that end.
We hope so. I mean, that's ultimately the goal, right? Is we can divert some of those bigger
avoid
crises,
those
keep them
problems.
out of the jail,
A lot of them,
recidivism.
You're also state funded, is that correct? I mean,
It's about 13% total between state and county dollars that we get of our budget.
do those numbers continue to go down as far as the state help, or is?
They have, let's So in 2006, we had a big cut. It took us till 2019, even though they were adding dollars to our budget to get back to that same rate. But they've been very supportive since that 2019.
Oh, good.
I don't know if our dollars will stay stationary or not. The biggest thing the state did for us right now is help us move into that new model of care, which moved us from a fee-for-service to that cost-based type payment system. So it puts all of our costs in and divides it by the number of services we provide.
And so that the state was involved in.
Yes, very much so. And so that just allowed us to be able to increase kind of what we pay people and increase our cost per se, because they're accounting for that cost. So we're able to pay our staff better, which is keeping them and retaining them and helping us hire them with that 24% increase. And it just changes that payment. It gives us a little bit more money to do some of these extra things that we weren't able to do before, like place somebody in the jail that's not billing anything.
Are you fully staffed now? I'm just curious if you're.
We are, but we're always hiring. So
Sure.
as we grow,
Sure.
we always look at caseload and try to figure out where those needs are, for sure.
Still got plenty of time.
Okay.
You have more
I can't tell. I don't
9 minutes,
know.
8.5 minutes left or whatever.
I think we're supposed to get a break in there too somewhere, but
Yeah, I think
I can talk all day. It's
We haven't heard
more about
one.
questions.
I think this is good.
Well, we're always here to support you, man, and
We appreciate that.
appreciate you coming down and giving us the update.
Yep, I appreciate you allowing me to and taking up some of your time here and there, but things can come up and arise, and I know Wade's always really good about reaching out when he needs to and feels there's some things we need to talk through, and we're open to that. We aren't always perfect, but we certainly want to do the best we can and help communities. It's a big thing. It's a lot of responsibility, and we want to be part of that. And the community does a great job and of including us and helping us be at that table. Okay, well,
Very
Thank
good.
okay. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day.
Good job, and thanks
Good to
for
see
everything
you.
you do.
Yeah, thank you very
for
much.
picking up my phone. I did forget to mention, Brian Dyer is a new board member for us. He's a school social worker in Burlington Schools.
Okay.
So that's part of here as a past board member. Should have mentioned that. Sorry.
You guys want to take 5 minutes? About all we got, really. Yeah, 5, 6 minutes.
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
Yep.
Break till 9:57, 9:58, somewhere there.
How's the shoulder? You got that? How's it?
We'll holler at them other 2 ways. Make sure that 2 ways.
Yep.
Hi, sir.
Morning. Several people reach out to me, and they call her, letting them know that more going to place on
Oh, yeah. Time gets away.
that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Okay, so we're on at 10, so. No, but I said break till 9:57, so.
Yeah.
Or 8. I probably should have said 9:58.
Well, you said either way, if I recall.
It's 7:58. We're here. Trying to be transparent.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I didn't mean to be targeted. Yes, I wasn't at that point.
Alright, just take that away from him right now.
Chicken? Trying to control the meeting there a little early, Tom.
Well, I'm taking away from Johnson, he gets a little carried
Put my
away.
hand on there, see if
It's already packing heat.
you might not be the only one.
So can we make this motion first, Angie, to appoint Mr. Johnson as a member before the 10 o'clock?
Yeah, I think if you go ahead and do that.
Okay. So with being one commissioner short, assuming why we're doing this?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna, need a motion to approve, to appoint Sheriff Tom Johnson as a member of the Board of Canvassers.
I move.
I'll second that.
Moved by McCurry, seconded by Thompson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen. Quite a bit.
I appreciate it too.
We got like 30 seconds here, and then we'll carry on. Assuming you need to wait till 10, that's
Yeah.
what's slated. Okay. Making sure I'm doing this correctly.
Right, we need two more copies of those.
How many?
Two.
Yep.
So you need to keep those.
Longest minute.
I know.
It is 10 o'clock. Need a motion to recess as the Board of Coffee County Commissioners and convene as Board of Canvassers to canvass the results of the May 14, 2024 special bond elections for USD 245.
I'm still moved.
Meets moved.
I'll second that.
Thompson seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Now in
Okay,
as canvassers.
so I've just handed out the provisional ballots for you. On this election, we had 5 provisional ballots. What we've determined, based on state statute, is that out of the 5, 2 moved within the county, and 3 were not registered to vote at all. So if you flip to the second page, we had one in Leroy Township and one in Liberty, where they moved within Coffee County in that school district. They moved within the school district, so those would count. Then the other 3 are very clear that were not registered, so we recommend that you guys accept 2 and reject 3 if you agree with our findings on that.
Angie, I was looking at this
Adam.
third page.
Uh-huh.
You know, it says status is suspended, moved within the counties too, which you've already stated. Voter was not registered. Total suspended 5. Is this the correct?
That's what we.
Dawn, if I can answer that, I process those we have to add those provisional ballots to the voter record. And when you put it in there, there's 3 choices. It's either accepted, rejected, or suspended. And until you've ruled on them, they all go in as suspended.
Oh.
When you tell us what to do on them, I will go in and process them, and the 2 that should be counted will be changed to accepted,
Okay.
and then the 3 that won't will be changed to rejected.
Okay.
So that's a good question.
That makes sense.
But they're just hanging there waiting for you to decide
For
right
you
now.
to change it.
Yeah, well, yeah, for you guys to rule on what happens with them, so, and then we'll enter in what you decided.
So I need a motion upon the recommendation of county election officers to accept 2 provisional ballots and reject 3 provisional ballots consistent with state statutes.
I so moved.
I'll second.
Johnson's moved, Meeks seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, so we're good with that.
Yep, they could go ahead and go tally those.
Right.
Do you want to continue on with the canvas here, or do you want to wait until you're done with other people? We've still got 8 minutes. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry if you want to move on, but if you want to.
No, we can finish
Okay.
it, I think.
All right, so the next thing I'll hand out is the balance sheet. And as we go through this, you'll see. Okay, so then here's the totals report. All right, so as you can see, we had a total of 423 that voted in this election. We had 36 that voted in advance. We had a total of 373, which if you add Gridley Community Building, Greenwood, Leroy, and the Woodson County that I manually entered, that totals up to 373. And then we had 14 advanced paper that we received back and that we read in the machine. And when you look at, like the first one is County Clerk's Office, we have 36. Got a sign down there that you agree that we are matching with that.
Do you want the date or just the signature? And then we'll
I can date it.
Alright.
Do you guys just want to sign that? And on the advanced poll book, at the 14, which this is going to look a little okay, so on our advanced poll book, you're going to see a number 10 at the back here. But that's, we had 9 that we accepted. 1 was rejected. And then we have mail-ins from other counties on the back. So there were a total of 5, which would make 14. So you'll see that here and here. Okay? So if you want to just sign, you can sign either on the front page here, would be fine, but then you can look at them if you want to see. There's 4, these are from the other counties, Greenwood County,
And then,
Woodson County,
County.
and then these are Coffee County.
Alright, perfect.
Casey, could you go tell Brad I need the 2 sign-in sheets from Woodson and Greenwood?
I just signed on the front.
So do you know what those 2 votes?
They're doing it right now.
Okay.
They're doing it right now.
So you don't know what
Yeah,
they are?
not yet. Now, this was Gridley's full book. And so we have that one there, and I'll have the Greenwood County coming with it here in a minute. There were 172, look at the back page. And then there'll be 3 more coming, so that's where that would balance back to your balance sheet, where 175 voted in Gridley. Did I give you the balance sheet? Yes, okay. I show you 2 columns because I show you the numbers that voted on the machines and that voted paper ballots, and then I show you the ones that signed in.
Here's your
Yeah, these as well.
election day signing, Greenwood, and Greenwood. And that's Gridley election day, and Leroy election day. I don't need the map.
Here's the 3. And then you can just sign down at the bottom if you want. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And then Leroy signed in was 190. You can see that on the back page. And then we had 6 Woodson County total voters. And that's very easy once you report back.
I see. Okay. Okay.
These were the last two that were total fees. Yeah. That sheet handed in around to go to you.
These two, in Licking County.
Yeah, those are the other two.
Yeah, yeah.
And then this is the, we had to hand count these 6 paper ballots. They're right here. On our paper ballot machine we read into, I programmed them to all be read in through Leroy, and we had some that went to Gridley, so we just hand counted and manually entered those in.
Oh, no, it was just 2 pages, I didn't mark that. Paper clipping together.
Here's the 2 zero reports. Have that right?
And you want both these signed?
If you would, yeah. If there are zeros, then you can see the date and sign them here. And if you want to sign, these are reports for just unofficial totals, you can sign at the bottom there.
Come back in November. Join us. I guess it won't be, it'll be late November. Canvas those.
Yeah, it won't be as quick in August and November because we'll have to do an audit, so
So I said, come back in November. Yes.
you'll wait 2 weeks after the election. Those are the 6 hand count.
It's 36%, all the eligible voters, that's the highest turn have you ever had, probably, isn't it? Close to.
For a city school, yes.
Probably as important as it was, it wouldn't.
I thought it might be higher.
Higher, yeah.
Kind of disappointing to me.
At least it was cut and dry.
Count one yes and one no.
Okay, so we have 1 yes and 1 no.
So the spread stays the same.
The spread stayed the same.
Okay.
So, I'll let you go ahead and sign these. If you viewed their hand count on those, they just went ahead and hand counted them.
You have the ballots.
And then we will add those totals to the totals after you make the motion to, or did they already make the motion to add them?
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Oh,
so then all we'll need to do is get your signature on the official reports and we'll be done. So we can go ahead and, after you're done signing here, then you can adjourn and go back to regular business and have you back on schedule.
And you want both of these copies signed, is that correct?
Yes.
So do you want them to go ahead and make the motion to certify the results?
Well, we already know what it is, so yeah, they can do that too.
I
After
guess as
they're
soon
waiting
as
for
we
it done.
signed it,
Yeah,
then I figured I would.
yep,
I'd
That
have
will
to
work.
sign before we.
yeah. have you come on in as I add them in manually, and then that way you can go back to work, and then they can come in after. They won't have to go back in as a board of candidates later.
The same margin. Are you done with my board in here then?
Yes, I believe so.
Can't think of anything else they can get.
So that was the last signature. Coffee County Elections Officer Angie Kirshner presented the tally of the books and poll books to the Board of Canvassers. I need a motion to certify the results.
I so move.
Johnson seconded. Thompson moved. Johnson seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. And so now I need a motion to adjourn as Canvas Board and reconvene as the Board of Coffee County Commissioners as 10:15.
Also move.
I'll second.
Pete's moved, McCreary seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Tom.
It was an easy election.
Yes.
Okay.
Board
Thank you,
did a
Dawn.
great job.
You're welcome,
so-
thank you.
And all the students are always so helpful with the
Say
lead.
that Bunsen Leroy, I wasn't in it very much, but they did a great job.
Yeah.
Take care, man.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So, in this afternoon, this morning?
Probably around 11:15.
Okay.
Next up would be Fabian. Okay. I always want to say your last name, I'm afraid I'm going to butcher it.
That's okay. Yanez.
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 I knew it.
How you doing,
Okay.
sir? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you, good morning. No, it's okay, I've grown up with a whole lot of Yahtzee, Xerox, I have it all, so it's all good.
You go by other names.
I go by Stephen, I've been all,
Right,
so,
right.
yeah. so.
People find a way to mispronounce both of mine, and I think they're fairly simple.
Quick short story, when I was a youngster in high school working at Worlds of Fun, I got called so many different things, I had 3 different name tags just to make people confused, so it's all good. I'm here today, as you know, from a follow-up from the Burns and Mac meeting last week, where now they are in agreement with the TEM group and with the county to proceed with some pre-development activities that are needed prior to any award of the U.S. Department of Commerce CHIPS Act grant work. And with that, as you all had directed, we will work kind of in concert underneath Burns and Mac's direction. So my follow-up was, as I mentioned last week, we would have some tasks and activities that they need us to do to move the project along, such that as the application gets further reviewed this summer, it will have a better standing with the Department of Commerce. So what I did provide to Wade earlier, but I brought copies of a fee proposal for the work that we're looking at to have done on your behalf in concert with Burns and McDonald. And I'll just, it's probably going to be easier just to read it, but I won't read the whole letter, but I can go through the list of activities that are needed, that have been identified through the process.
And I apologize that I was not here last week, but this is basically, your scope of work is outlined by what Burns and Mac wishes to see.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
That's my only question, thank you.
Yeah, so it's just on this front page, there's 7 items that in discussions with them, they're going to need the county's assistance, or the engineer of the county. The first one is the feasibility studies in regard to the utilities. Again, in each of these categories, we've done some level of work, but now that the TEM has really locked in their team of who's going to be doing their project, This is the work that may be needed as we get refined information from them. The second, and in utilities, I want to be clear too, that includes water, sewer, gas, and electric. And I will say stormwater. The stormwater management itself on the site is going to be very important as well. Number 2 is feasibility work for the offsite highways, roads, right-of-way improvements for the initial phase and future phases. As you also know, we have conducted a traffic study on your behalf. We provided that to KDOT. This work here would include, we have not gone further with KDOT. We only took it to a point. There's a review process, there's comments, there's adjustments to that study. And with the goal that we would get to conceptual geometric improvements with KDOT's approval in the process. Number 3 is what they call a concept level basis of design for the entire site. We have done a fair amount of that work. These are the site plans you've seen, but there has been some tweaking with TEM's folks. I don't see anything dramatically changing, but it could be that we're moving a roadway alignment based on how they see the footprint of a building, or more importantly, how the utilities right now, if you remember last week, Burns and Mac's example just kind of had color codes for utilities that would stub at the different sites. We're going to go a little further to identify where's the best way to take those in, what corridor would work along the roadways, things of that nature. The item 4 is collaboration with the program management agent, which is Burns and McDonnell, in support of the pre-development activities and expectations. I will, as I mentioned last week briefly, and again, there are now a number of meetings that are taking place with Burns and McDonnell and with TEM, because they're trying to prepare for this follow-up meeting with the Department of Commerce in Washington, D.C. So we are literally having multiple meetings weekly. They've broken this into like subgroup teams to work on different categories so that we can keep this stuff moving in time for them. The hope is that there will be a meeting at the end of June for the TEM folks with Washington. Then collaboration, number 5, is with the TEM consultants. As I mentioned, they've got a team of folks now that we need to understand what they're trying to plan for the facility and then go forward. Then the last 2 pieces are just whether the main task for Burns and McDonnell was to come up with an example development agreement on behalf of the county with TEM. We are assisting with that because most of the attachments that might go into that document would be things that the county would produce. So, as I mentioned, like a site plan or a traffic study or a traffic analysis or utility concepts, things of that nature. So those are going to be really what covers items 6 and 7. And we will, we're going now. I mean, it's work that needs to take place, and so this was to come again after they presented to you last week.
Right. And then just again, this is really the standard format that I've used for contract documents, as you've asked in the past.
We just need a motion to have the vice chairman, or motion enter this agreement. Have you briefed this, Wade? I mean,
I've looked at it right now after it was handed to me. It's pretty basic in its scope. Lump sum, $84,950. I don't have an issue with it.
I say that I wasn't here last week. Apologize for that. I mean, this all falls in line with what Burns and Mac is requesting. So.
It was mentioned last week that Saban would be back this week and he would present this as outside the scope of what Burns and Mac was doing.
We just need a motion to enter an agreement.
What period of time is this all gonna take? I guess you're looking at 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days?
I think we're looking at 30 to 45 days.
So it'd be a one-time check issued, or you?
No, we're gonna do, we'll do monthly invoices, and we'll do it as progress.
This is just an approximate.
Correct,
Right.
correct. I will say, we're targeting 30 to 45 days. We're kind of at the discretion of Burns and Mac and TEM as they're, we're feeding them information. So, I'm thinking that's the window of the schedule that we've discussed, but it could be 60. Yeah, I just, it's got a little bit.
Could stretch out a little more.
Yeah, it could stretch out a little more, but it's still this budget. This is the work that we will do.
Right. You said TEM is scheduled to have a meeting at the end of June, is that?
They're targeting that. They have been in discussions to try to get a meeting set.
Nothing's been set in stone?
No,
Okay.
no.
So I was just.
But this is what I'm hearing, so I want to be clear when I say this, because I know I'm on camera, but
Yeah.
I think there's a desire by the Department of Commerce to begin to get more of these dollars out before November. So,
So no correction.
right, and this is really the first round of applications still at the federal level. So you've seen probably some articles of other places in the country that have received awards. This is still in line with that first wave of applicants. And again, I would reiterate, the county is not the applicant. TEM and the KSMC site is the applicant for the U.S. Department of Commerce.
So, just making sure we're gonna word this correctly. You see any changes you wanna make to this motion? Wade?
So Saban and I talked earlier on another agreement that will be presented in a little while. The lump sum fee, the way I read that is it ends up leaving here and then a check is cut, but I don't think that's the intent.
That's not our intent. Our intent is, as we've done before, we would invoice monthly as work is accomplished.
But this is just an estimated cost. I mean.
I would call it an amount not to exceed.
Okay.
At this point. Anything in addition, if it falls outside these 7 items, we would have to come back and ask.
And ask for.
Yes.
So that'd be the max
Yeah.
for these.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
In our world, lump sum just means that we've calculated an amount that we believe is necessary, and we'll invoice appropriately, say by percentage of work or in a manner that works by the work accomplished.
Normally, Casey, when it's not to exceed, we do make that part of the motion.
Or we pick on it now as opposed to sending it up the flagpole and beating it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And should that read entered to an agreement or to approve and enter into an agreement with? CFS for the professional engineering services. Sorry, I maybe went too fast, but
Yeah.
need to change it for it to tell. Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Everybody okay with that? Okay, so I need a motion to enter into agreement with Cook Strobel Engineers for professional engineering services. Pre-development support TEM KSMC site not to exceed the amount of $84,950 to be invoiced monthly and based on progress invoices prepared by CFS. And funds are gonna come, or do we need to, we probably should have stated that.
where it should come from, so, because that's where you have everything else, chips related,
Yeah,
coming from.
yeah, so,
You just may need to populate that account.
okay. So funds will come from the CHIPS account. 'Cause it's not all gonna come in at once, so we'll be correct. Okay.
Yeah,
You're not gonna
exactly.
get a bill for a month
Right,
now, so we've
right.
got time to prepare for that.
I'd make that motion.
Terry's moved. I'll second that. Thompson seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, gentlemen, we'll look
Thank
forward
you,
to working with
thank you,
you.
so thank you.
Keep you posted on it.
Hey, heard anything about our latest, well, it's been several months now, the water study from Real 12?
Yeah, we did know that it did not get the grant funding, but I do know that Water 12 has budgeted some money to go ahead and have their engineers start doing some work on a study. They've kind of got half the funds available, I guess, to get them started, and they have started. They have been invited to these discussions with TEM.
Okay.
Their work is gonna be very helpful, very, very helpful. I think they are, looking to add some funds to that program to do a little more of a robust study. That's for them to determine how they do that. There's still a bit of water study work that would need to be done that we're doing on your behalf, because part of what's needed is not just supplying the water to the KSMC site. It also is looking at what could be redundancy water to the site, because certainly if this project really goes, even phase one, you don't want to have a 3-shift operation that could have a water problem and then they're without water. So that's the other piece that we've continued to talk about with Carl Lee and the water study as a whole for the county. But they are starting in on a water study as to what their needs might be. And I will say that's important to the TEM meetings, because as you know, Carl and I have been working for several months on kind of trying to understand the numbers that are needed for the site. And now that TEM has some new leadership, we're trying to make sure those numbers are still good. Because everything starts with, what do you need? And then we might add on, what does the site need? What does the full site need? And then what does the community need? Because you certainly don't want to build just a facility that only services the business.
Right, correct,
at
right.
this point. So
I
that's,
know the numbers have been bouncing around,
Yeah,
so we could have major expansion right in that area.
Absolutely.
You know, all around there,
absolutely,
I would think.
yeah. So
Am I correct? I mean, electric, gas would be the most simple, I mean, as far as infrastructure.
I'll say,
Am I wrong? I mean, water, it seems to be the,
I would put it this way, water will have a timeline challenge.
right,
Because once we agree on numbers and we agree on where it's gonna come from, then putting design and construction in place is gonna take time.
right. Because the electricity and the gas, I mean, obviously, they're pretty accessible.
Yeah, and I will say too, as I think we've said before, to start construction, there's probably enough water and electricity to get this construction started, but it's gonna be what needs to be in place.
For maintenance or for the.
Yes, as they get,
Operation.
so when you get operation,
Right.
on day one, they need to be operational. So it's matching up these schedules.
It just feels like the water could be the problem.
I think water is gonna be your lead time issue.
Timeline deal.
I certainly think, again, we don't control this, but I'll certainly say
I know.
that, I know that we've talked to TEM about looking at what we call alternative delivery, maybe design build. That way you're accelerating the process. Once we know what the numbers are and where the water's gonna come from, maybe there's a method of design build so we can gain some time on delivery. Electric and gas, typically those schedules are controlled by the electric company and the gas company. But I think, again, once we get usage identified, our job on your behalf will be to tell them where they can go on the, you know, where we want them to go.
Right.
Their job will be to provide us the details of what's gonna go in that path. So. Good deal. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Coffee County Chamber of Commerce budget presentation.
Morning.
Morning.
How are you? Holly's going to hand out a couple of pieces of documentation, some working documents that we have. One is going to be a basic job description, and the other is going to be a budget, a proposed budget for the new chamber, as we're hoping to align it. Like I said, Holly, myself, and Sarah have all been part of the chamber since before the previous chamber dissolved. And after we've, conducted interviews looking for a director, and the previous budget it didn't allow us to hire a director full-time with the talent equivalency of what we believe that the county deserves in a chamber director. So, we've been meeting for several months now, and a few things that were important to us was to have at least a baseline job description as well as a budget. First thing that we worked on was getting representation from every community within the county. So we have myself, Matt Harmon, I think I was here a few weeks ago, we all met, from here in Burlington. Miss Holly's from Waverly. We have Katie Schuster from New Strawn, Dee Gertson from Gridley, Sarah Stewart from Leroy, and Blake Holmes from Lebo. And he thought it was more important to go on a honeymoon than be here, but we urged him differently, but he took the safe route. So we're here today proposing for one, for the chamber director to be considered a county position. Much like your housing authority director have its own department. We think that's important because we believe a synergistic relationship with economic development is going to benefit the county. Would not work under economic development, but we would hope that they would be working together towards the betterment of the county itself. So their job description's there, and a budget that including the salary for a director of $100,000 annually. That would be, like I said, the director's salary as well as their budget as the director.
Yeah, the total.
That is the total, yes.
Yeah, not the salary.
Correct.
Well, county employees, county benefits, I'm gonna assume is close to the percentile, 30 percentile of salary, give or take.
Yeah, I could do a quick report.
So I mean,
So that would be above the budget. I see where you're going. We did not factor the benefit structure into the proposed budget.
You're talking about this, Matt, as a county employee?
Yes, a full-time county
Well,
employee.
yeah.
So how
can this be done?
what,
They can.
To say, and understand, this is working documents. We're happy to adjust and take any advice or critique that we have.
and maybe it's here somewhere and I just haven't seen it yet. Because I know chamber members, if you will, like construction companies,
Right.
businesses, contribute to the chamber.
So our hopes or goals would be for the new chamber to be all-inclusive and due free. So
Fees go away.
fees for each business would go away. Now, we're
is that normal within a, I mean, I thought the chamber was more or less self-sustained.
so some are, some aren't. some are just all-inclusive, and you're able to get, you know, different levels of membership. They can donate $1,000, $2,000 and get additional advertising, and that's where we would hope to adjust, but we're at a position that without somebody who's dedicated full-time towards the chamber as a director, you know, we're meeting once or twice a month for 45 minutes, and all of us have our regular 9 to 5 plus. Bless you again. So we're hoping that if we get approval to move forward with an interview process and a hiring process of a director, that individual could drive the task forward on how we would be able to raise additional funds, and that budget could be adjusted accordingly. We're a little stuck on how we can improve, you know, driving commerce into the county without somebody truly focused on it as a full-time position.
Do you feel like, Matt, that you'll be able to retain the quality of person that you need for $50,000?
So that, we've had discussions around that number. So the one hard line number that we have is that $100,000 proposed budget. Obviously, if we run into a scenario where we had to come back in front of you, we would. But if we found the right person and there was a salary negotiation, that would be with the understanding that some of those other numbers we may have to get a little creative with.
Well, you're gonna have another, if it was a county employee, you're gonna have another.
Right.
You're gonna have a benefit, so I mean, it's gonna be.
Correct.
In essence, more than a $50,000 job.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. By the time you match Social Security and retirement and capers, yeah, health insurance. Which,
So it might make
it's just
it
one of those hurdles.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Excuse me, Tom.
That's all right.
Commissioners, I was told that for budgeting purposes, we don't include the benefits in the budget
Oh, okay.
that you see.
But they're still got to be in.
Right, but I mean, it would be.
My mind headed there immediately, so.
Yeah, but it would help us with, or help them, help you with.
Yeah, with recruiting and
Yeah.
the interview process. Absolutely.
And what do you know what we contribute now, right, to the chamber?
It's historically been about 15 grand worth of tourism guest tax and about another 15, 20 grand of odd money coming out of the economic development. That's varied over the years.
Then you have to re-educate me, and I know I keep looking at you because I'm pretty sure you know the answer. That bed tax collected, where does it wind up?
It's statutorily driven, which is different from other rules that the commissioner set. The tourism guest tax has rules in the Code of Kansas, and it's been being just given to the chamber. Well, that's actually not the right thing to do. The tourism guest tax is special money for the county to hand out to different groups who would actually cause tourism back into the county, like hotels, and so we've been giving it to the chamber, but
And that's at 15,000, you would say?
yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
And that's still available, is that correct?
So that would be in the county for other things,
I
or in the account.
asked the chamber board to just consider it, don't even consider it in what you're asking for. Let the county just bank that, the commissioners can do something else with
Do
it.
that elsewhere.
Right.
Just wanna make sure I understand.
Who's this individual gonna answer to, since it'll be an employee for the county, gonna answer to Bobby?
So our goal would be for it to be a standalone directorship. I would assume that the only people that they would answer to would be you fine gentlemen in front of me. That they would, thank you, Wade. No, we did not want a position working under economic development. We thought it would be better for them to be separate. I mean, obviously, we want them to work together towards common goals, but not reporting to Bobby.
Right, right.
And that was recommended by the board and fully supported by
Yes.
Mr. Skipper.
I think that makes some sense, if you want to do that.
Well, obviously, this isn't something we have to, like, go on inside today, kind of presentation, but I think some, the discovery on what the, benefit part would be helpful as to help you put
Yeah.
together a budget for the chamber, so to speak, so.
Yeah, we're at the point where our next step is if we get some form of a budget approved, we would like to start moving forward with the interview, the process of finding that director. We want, as opposed to the way the chamber kind of operated before, we had a director that was leading the board. We would like a board to be leading a director. So we would, again, a member from each community driving what we think is best for the county, and then that person is executing on our goals, and their focus is to do that 40 hours a week.
But then that person, go ahead, Tom.
Sorry. So with that being said, you said like the housing authority, so that, I guess the Board of Calhoun County Commissioners appoint the board members to the housing authority board, as well as the hospital and several other boards. So do you see that headed the same direction on this?
So I'll completely transparent, I didn't know that. We're all volunteers, and we've had conversations in the past about sitting for a certain amount of time and then finding your own replacement. I think we would be open to whatever is needed for continuity's sake and for the success of the chamber.
Well, and that's what they are on the other boards as well. I mean, they're volunteers.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still, they're appointed by the commission. So, I mean, if this did go through, nobody'd have an issue with that.
Let's see. Anybody from the back row
What
chime
we
in?
do is we just advertise for the position, if you will, and they fill out applications. We say yea or nay.
It would be better to have a board like that instead of whoever the director would be coming before us. I mean, that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'm still trying to figure out. We just need to have some more discussion on it.
Yeah. So we need a little work session on it, so to speak.
Right,
Yeah.
right, to where we can.
Well, I think we would be happy to come back and answer any questions and move forward whenever you guys would be ready for that.
Okay.
How many hours do you expect this individual to work in a year's time?
2080. I mean, I expect it to be a full-time position. Now, obviously, there's going to be situations where it's not necessarily 8 to 5 Monday to Friday, because there's going to be weekend and evening events, and
See, that triggers all the benefit programs.
so
Triggers anything over 1,000 hours, triggers the benefit package.
okay.
But this is gonna be, if this moves on, it's gonna be a 40-hour, or
Yeah.
a 40-hour week.
Right.
Isn't that?
That's our goal.
That's your
Yes.
goal?
I figured it was about 50% by the time you throw in.
Okay.
So it'd be a $75,000 a year job.
I think that's higher than we had estimated.
Yeah.
So
It'll be a little less, but.
yeah.
In that range.
That's with the benefit package.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm definitely not opposed to it, but I'm curious, I guess my mindset is, I'm gonna assume that other cities, like larger cities, if you will, that's their department, or chamber is a city employee or a county employee. Most generally, or do you know that, or?
Sarah, you may have more.
Like the Anderson County Chamber of Commerce, which is it's actually the Garnett Area Chamber of Commerce, that director works within the city office. Some are independent. The Woodson County Chamber office is independent, but they do have funding from the county, so it just kind of varies.
Okay. All right.
So I'm sorry.
Nope.
So instead of fees, you would just include everyone, I mean, what would be,
So you're gonna ask questions as far as involvement and activity.
yeah,
And so one, we didn't want to exclude any business. If a business wants to start up and we start charging them fees to be an included member, we didn't want to do that. We wanted everybody to be included, but we had beat around ideas for additional, gold memberships or however we wanted to notate it to get it, whether it be additional recognition or, higher posts on our website, Facebook, We're hoping to get a director in place who will lead that side of the equation. We'll have our goals, but it would be the director's job to move that forward.
What are the annual fees now?
So, yeah,
what was it?
250.
I just paid my hair back.
250.
So, Sarah, did you say Anderson County, that director is in the city office?
The Garnett Area Chamber of Commerce is in the city office, correct? It's not a county position.
So,
Say that again.
would
I'm
our,
sorry.
would our,
It's
Go ahead.
in the city office, the Garnett Area Chamber of
Okay.
Commerce. It does serve the entire county, but it's in the city office of Garnett.
But it's not associated with the county.
I don't know if they have any association with the county at all, I just know that the office is in the
So,
city.
that was my, didn't know if we could expect any involvement from the city or cities or financially. I'm not saying there should be, I'm just
That's,
asking
I guess
if
that's what I was.
that's normal, if you're gonna hire somebody.
I just think we need to discuss it quite a bit more.
Yeah, we need a work session.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do.
And I'm
I think
not
that's
opposed
absolutely
to
fair.
it.
I'm not
Oh,
either, I
no,
don't
no.
want you to misunderstand that, I'm not.
My mind is headed directly, I mean, if you did have a person in there, my first thought would be if they're having an event, then whatever business can help sponsor that event by donating
Right.
$1,000 or $500 or whatever, and get their name advertised at the event,
Yeah, that's obviously we're hoping for
something that.
to do stuff along those lines, but we quickly have found out how, when we have a lot of ideas, how quickly we can bog ourselves down in a 45-minute to an hour session a month.
Sure.
As much as we want to communicate with via email and between meetings, having somebody at the helm who can organize and, narrow our focus would substantially benefit.
Tom, you're thinking like a work session in the afternoon, I mean.
Yeah, we can set it for whenever you guys want.
Whenever, yeah, and they can meet, that's what you're thinking about?
Well, I mean, as for us, I mean, a conversation with Mr. Hui and all parties concerned, if you will, about, where does the money come from, where,
And that'd give us some time if we.
where
do
is
a work
that person
session,
gonna be
yeah.
located?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right,
as we know right now, we're cramped here, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of things happening here as well, so.
Absolutely.
Just one more thing.
Okay. I forget anything back there? Anybody want to chime in? Perfect.
The only funds you have coming in now is strictly from the businesses.
And TGG were the only funds that we had before, but again, the previous chamber has dissolved, so we're not collecting dues at all currently. And I even think refunds for some of those dues were issued,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
I haven't looked for it lately.
We were trying to support.
Yeah, I looked.
We did our best.
But yeah, no, I'm not opposed to it at all, it's just, again, it's,
Yeah.
something new to think about along all the other happenings going on in the counties. You notice we're fairly busy individuals some days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we're open to that, and if we need to come back and discuss further, we'd be happy to do that.
Pretty good.
Okay?
We'll, round table here, we'll maybe set a time to have like a work session on it, maybe do some further exploration with, legalities, I mean, there's lots of things to consider. So
Yeah, absolutely.
especially as far as placement within the courthouse, or where, or maybe it's not in the courthouse, maybe it's.
Did you have any thoughts on that?
So obviously, a long-term goal would be to have a standalone office, you know, whether it be a Chamber of Commerce, a visitor center. I know we kind of talked about it when I was here before, when we had discussed the amphitheater, hotel project, having an office there. That would be a long-range goal. I know we've talked about being within Economic Development's office in the conference room that's in there in the short term. But I guess that's one of the things we're open to whatever discussion needs to be had. Right now, the budget doesn't have anything for, you know, a secretary, so having an office, a standalone office without somebody in there all the time, if the director's traveling between businesses, all of these have been kind of beat around the bush, but we're still in the infancy stage of this proposal, you know, of the grand scale of things.
And do you feel that, I mean, when considered a full-time position, I mean, would there even be a need for the secretary? I mean, should that person probably be its own?
I think Matt Moore means, the chamber director is out of the office a lot for a lot of different reasons, and we want him to be out of the office. So a certain amount of hours per week, I think, would be expected.
We actually just had this discussion
of, you know, what days and what times you're gonna be there, so that people know, but that could be figured out. But in the future, if we did have a standalone office, I don't know if it would be beneficial or even necessary to have someone there that is there a lot more often, as opposed to in the short term being in economic development where there wouldn't have to be somebody there all the time.
So as far as reaching that person, basically, you're gonna talk to them via phone anyway. So.
Right.
A lot of the time, yeah.
Or
email, website, Facebook.
Or through your area board
We
member.
have to be representatives for our individual communities.
All right.
Okay.
Questions?
We'll do our work on it and see what we come up with.
That's all we can ask for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You just sign that.
Oh, okay. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks. Thank you.
Road and Bridge, RD.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
How are you?
Oh, not too bad. How are you guys?
Doing okay.
Fallouts for the weekend. We had one last night after the storms went through. A couple miles south of Waverly, there's a power line that snapped off and was in the roadway. So they were asked to have the road shut down until it could get fixed. So getting several tree reports in today on some trees that's down. But that was it on that.
Thanks for coming out last night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no problem. So, this is just overnight stay request for conference coming up. Got a couple road permits from last week. One was for a water line crossing at 3rd and Blackbird. And then one was for a road bore for a telephone drop at 11th and Capper. And next I've got a few motions.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, it'd be for some summer help. Did we send these up or?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's give all three to you. The first one is taking Jacobs' summer help for the asphalt crew.
So, move to authorize the direct vice chairman to sign CT2 for taking Jacobs summer help, labor crew member, wage classification 5.0, or excuse me, 5.01, wage 1509, effective 5/20, number of hours worked not to exceed 560.
I'll move.
Meets moved,
I'll second that.
Thompson seconded, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Alright, thank you. The next one, similar motion. This would be for the summer help position out the landfill. Jake Lizer.
Move to authorize and direct the Vice Chairman to sign CP 2 for Jake Lizer, summer help, labor crew member, wage classification 5.01, wage of 15.09, effective 5/20, number of hours worked not to exceed 560.
I so move.
I'll second.
Yep. He moved it. Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sorry, I was trying to read ahead, make sure I was staying on. Lost my focus.
All right, thanks. The next one is a part-time, summer help. And this would be for some inspection needs, on this Blackberry transmission line. So this is all, reimbursable back from NextEra. So, looking at Tim Austin, who's actually retired from the county. He's done this type of work before, and he's willing to come in and help us out. Estimating around 20 hours per week, on this, so it's good benefit for us, good help there, that it's a good opportunity that's gonna work out for us, so.
Move to authorize and direct the Vice Chairman to sign CP 2 for Tim Austin, summer help, heavy equipment operator.
That's just, that's the category that it's in, there's not a specific job, so that's the wage, and he comes in at that, that's equipment operator position.
Wage classification 3503, wage of 2105, effective 5/20. Number of hours worked not to exceed 1,000.
I'll move.
McCurry's moved,
I'll second.
Needs seconded. Any discussion?
Is it 3503, is that the right spot to start him at?
Yeah.
Or does he work some other hours? Or other summers, I mean?
No, he retired
He just retired.
a year and a half ago
2
with
years, yeah.
30 years in with the county.
Yeah. Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right, thank you. The next motion we have is dealing with the contract for bridge design. Just to recap on the structure up there on the Olivet Road. It's the road that we got shut down to one lane. The engineer estimates for repair on that was almost $400,000. Replacement cost was $1.1 million. After discussion, we agreed that replacement was the right route to go for that. So basically, this is just the next step to continue moving that forward. I will say that this agreement here for the surveys and plan prep is for like $74,000. This bridge now, and Saban could probably speak about more than I can on this, but it's probably can qualify for some possible funding. So I think the idea is those applications are due this week, and due to the state that bridge is in, they'll submit it. So there's a chance that we could possibly receive funding on it.
Awesome. Based on the recommendation of the Road and Bridge Superintendent and approved of the County Attorney as to form, move to approve consultant client agreement with Cook, Platt and Stroll for the engineered design services of bridge replacement for Coffee County Bridge number 2, located 5.5 miles east and 0.8 miles north of Lebo as per agreement, and direct the Road and Bridge Superintendent to sign all related contract documents. Funds to be paid for out of the special bridge fund. So move. Thompson's
I've
moved.
got one thing on that. I'm sorry, that's the wrong motion. I think Wade tweaked on this motion a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Sorry about that, I didn't realize it wasn't put in yet.
Here's the contract to swing around.
You have a different motion.
He's got it.
I think the motion that's there is fine.
Okay.
Within that agreement, there's a couple sections. One that deals with additional reimbursables necessary for soil investigation and/or right-of-way staking if needed. So the $74,300 is sort of the estimate for now, but once they dig into it, it may require some of the other, similar to the jail project, the unsuitable soil type situation.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's how we have traditionally put together bridge design contracts. And in the contract, we just specified there's a couple items. If they reveal themselves, then we would come back and there would be a need for a question. Our hope is that we would not. For example, right-of-way, as Wade mentioned, the goal would be to design this within the existing right-of-way. I mean, and make the improvements within the existing right-of-way. And until we get into the design itself and survey and look at the conditions, we won't know. So there's no reason to include that budget in there at this point, if we don't need it.
So the only change that I made to the motion was at the end of the amount subject to additional reimbursables that may be necessary for soil investigation and or right-of-way staking if required. I don't know if you want to put that in there. I think now that it's been announced out in the open, it's not later on down the road, if it ends up being $80,000 because something happens, it's not a
surprise.
Exactly.
So you're fine with the way the motion sits now?
Yep.
Hey, Thompson, you moved earlier then.
I'll second.
Curry seconded. Any further discussion? The only thing I do see is that in this agreement, it's got, and the motion basically gives Ryan the power to sign, and this has commission members on it.
Well, I think those are all documents that's done after this agreement.
Yeah.
That's what the intent is.
So we're still good? Okay.
I want to mention one last thing too, just as Ryan mentioned, that this is really helpful because we are already preparing the KDOT Bridge Fund application, which is due on the 24th, and Ryan is aware of that. So this will get attached to that application. We think our history says that gives this application a little more credence in their process because the county is moving forward.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. You wish this back?
I think you
Do we want it signed or?
sign it. That's the one that'll have to be signed.
Okay. This one? Yep.
That's all the motions I had for today. I do need a few minutes for an executive session. 20 minutes to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel regarding a medical issue for the board, myself, and Wade.
Motion to enter an executive session for 20 minutes with Ron Durs, Coffee County Councilor Wade Bowie, and Commission. Turn the Kansas Open Meetings Act. I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. We were at 11:12. Everybody voted yes, right? All in favor say aye. Did I say that?
No.
Aye.
Aye.
So do we,
He does well.
we got two fees.
I don't think so.
Group them up.
Going back, there's some taken.
That's all I had for today. Do you guys have any questions or anything for me?
We, Steve and I and Ryan and Clinton met with,
KDOT.
KDOT,
and they're in the process of replacing that bridge east of Leroy that they've worked on numerous times to keep it where we can still drive over, but it is gonna be changed out. And there is not gonna be any flyby.
There's no shoot fly on that,
They're
correct?
taking that all out of the program because of utility lines is a major issue. The detour for local people is probably gonna be 16 miles. It'd be,
Well, yeah, so if I may, Don.
Be
So
20 miles going
So
up.
KDOT detour, they're only gonna detour traffic on state highways. Obviously local traffic. So KDOT has started, conversations with these projects with counties of, they're not official detours, okay? So, we know our roads are gonna take a lot more traffic. So they wanna know what kind of, damages, those are all upfront costs that we have to anticipate, for these projects. So right now, we're kinda evaluating, you know, how we wanna route traffic, which for us, trying to keep truck traffic, that would be traveling through on 58 on asphalt. Locals, we want to take the quickest, shortest gravel around. Well, the problems down there at Leroy is the roads aren't the safest, the railroad crossings don't have arms, so, you know, I'm working through trying to identify what our routes will be, you know, for the asphalt, and then also some gravel routes for the locals. You know, get some figures there for some reimbursement costs and some funds back from the state for gravel, dust control. They pay out X amount of dollars per asphalt lane miles and stuff like that, but, just try to have a good plan on where we want to try to focus that traffic, and then try to educate the public a little bit. Here's the routes that we're going to identify, encourage people to use them. You know, you're still going to have traffic that's taking the quickest routes, you know, so that'll be another hiccup, but, you know, really that first route around there, just that curvy road and those intersections at the railroad, it's not safe. It is not safe, so we really gonna have to discourage people from using that route. Still working exactly on what we want those routes to be. Probably it's gonna be 9th or 10th Road. Can be a cutoff, from Wayside to Shetland. But, I'll have some more discussion with you guys probably here in another week or so. You know, I got a little more idea. Some figures and.
The route, if you're traveling down 69 or whatever it is, that route's gonna be 50-mile detour.
Right, yeah.
Just go down, hit 54 and then back up 75.
Right.
That's a 50 or 55-mile detour, so, it's, without that shoe fly, it's not gonna be a good situation.
No, it's gonna be a pain in the rear.
So is that, I can't remember exactly what it looks like, that railroad crossing. Like the person put up some warnings for like double drop trailers and stuff. That got a pretty good ridge to it.
No, that one's not bad.
They can get over it.
Yeah, I don't think that one's too bad, but,
No, I hesitated going that way.
yeah, so really, I mean, I think the route we'd be looking at is going up Wayside and maybe cutting across 10th. I believe you get north of the railroad that way.
I see. Back to the Aliceville Road.
For a gravel cutoff. Then as far as for, truck traffic coming down 58, we'd probably take them up Wayside to 12th Road and clear into Burlington to hit 75 and south. And then if they're coming up, coming from the west into Leroy, I'd probably go ahead and let that traffic come up Shetland. But Shetland's so narrow on that first mile that I hate to encourage a bunch of two-way traffic there. So as much of that as we can eliminate, the better off we'll be.
First half mile's 120 foot.
It's less than 20 foot.
The county did put, probably a 200-yard stretch in there with some, base rock, and it's solid enough, but it's just not a good traffic.
No, for two-way
For
truck
two
traffic.
semis meeting on there, and during 12 hours, you left semis meeting all of them.
Yeah.
It's not good.
We'll have to try to work something out.
That's too bad all those light poles are in there. That road ought to be wide.
Right.
And the best case scenario, though, there may not be a harvested, well, yeah, there'd be a little bit.
Well, this will be a 2025 project, so
Right.
it's
gonna be a 9.
a 9-month, I mean, so that's,
Right.
essentially, yeah, you'll hit a harvest in
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
more likely, so.
I suggested to them, if the weather's right, they could start January 1st and have a chance of having it done by September 1, but that probably isn't gonna happen. Nothing ever works that fast, though.
No. So, yeah, just discussion there, but at some point we got, some detour routes identified, and kind of show you what we're thinking there, and get your guys' thoughts on that, so. Yeah, no, thanks for bringing that up, John.
We'll get more updates on it later, too.
Okay. All right, well, you guys have a good week.
Thank you.
You do the same, Ron, thank you. Round the table. Mr. Bowie.
Last week, the resolution 2024-932 was passed. However, it never made it around for circulation for signature. So I have the copy signed by Jesse, but I need everybody except for Tom to sign if he wasn't here. So I have two of them just in case. And then once those signatures have been made, then I'll sign it and then pass it on to Angie so she can.
Do you want both of these signed, is that right?
Yes. Number two. We're gonna go to the big screen.
Okay, right there.
Want these back down to you.
Yes.
For you, computer alert. Just wait tonight, you're probably gonna have to fix this. I'm just saying up front. Girl, some, no, probably not. Okay.
That's gonna do.
Told you, it's here, just come and fix it, just get it.
So we're. So what I'm gonna cover is the next application for payment number 5 for the jail project. The current payment due is $914,208.54, and it's not as long as the last one, but I want to make sure it's covered. Both myself and Sheriff went through it with River City. Sorry. So you can see it up there now? So, application number 5, period ending April 30th, 2024. And I've highlighted, I've gone through each of the pages. This one is 35 pages long, so I'm going to go through, just bear with me. But current payment due, $914,208.54. So, as all of these documents have with the application and certificate for payment, it goes through and talks about the work completed for this particular pay period. and it breaks it down on these first three pages. And I'm gonna blow by that because each one has a different application and certificate for payment. So the first one, unlimited construction, concrete unlimited. That current payment, $264,477.60. That's with the 10% retainage. The original request, as you see in the bottom right-hand corner, was $293,864. On each of these pages, you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner, similar to what I've done before, I go through and I figure out what they had asked for, who it was, and then if it has the check mark, that means I've gone through, asked the questions I felt needed to be asked. So each one of the applications has this work completed for this period, building and reinforced steel, the building. These are my notes, poured concrete through April. Reinforced steel is the labor tied to the steel that's associated with this project, and that equals the $293,864, and then the 10% is taken off of that. So that's that one. For HME, which is your steel, you see in the bottom right-hand corner, the total requested $69,069.50. Current payment due $62,145 with the 10% retainage. This is the detailed billing. So detailing $33,600. Steel design and steel and number 2, $35,450. That's for the embeds and lintels. And I had to ask because I didn't know what that was. Bridge openings for masonry. And that's the $69.50 total. Next one, IBC carpentry, $17,745. Current payment with the 10% retainage, $15,970.50. And the detailed part of that, miscellaneous material, tools, and general conditions. You see my writing here for the $17,700. Hardware for setting door frames. It's specific to what that was for. And that's the total between the two, $17,745. Next one, Seward glass, $3,443.01, 10% retainage, $3,098.71, and pretty self-explanatory. My circle, shop drawings, bonds, submittals, that's the total for this particular invoice. Polygel, which is the pods themselves, $42,812, 10% retainage, $38,530.80. And you'll see some areas where I highlighted that I didn't need to. Detention hardware and materials, $1,556.58. Security mesh material and submittals, $5,465.18. That is the mesh on the mezzanine on the upper level of the jail pods, which is being installed for safety reasons so that nobody can take a jump and from one level to the next and when they should be using the stairs. Plumbing, mod back, material and detailing labor. This is for the back of the cells. The materials, $949.84. And then these are engineering and project management submittals. The SEC works with Polygel on putting those pods together. Engineering submittals, Polygel, self-explanatory. Project management, the 2284245, general conditions, job incidentals. Both Tom and I asked at office overhead and billing related to this particular project, similar to other projects, but made sure that that's noted, and that's where the total comes from. The next one, McElroy's. This is probably the highest out of all of them for this pay period. $271,374 with the retainage taken off. the payment due 244, 236.60. And this has to do with submittals for 5,000 excavation and specifically plumbing underground only. Plumbing below grade the material and the labor, and this is all, as you see on the left, prior to the slab being poured in. If you saw out on the site, there was a lot of work prior to the concrete being laid, and this is what this is tied to. And then change order number 1, addendum 4 items, that was something that was previously addressed, and now it's coming forward. And that's where that total amount comes from. Shelley Electric is the next one. This one sort of is a double, $45,537.05 is what they're requesting, and then $17,401 in stored materials for a total of $62,938.05. With the 10% retainage, $56,644.24. You'll see the cost mobilization, $18,535. Lighting material, lighting labor, power material, labor, low voltage material, low voltage labor. All of those are related to underground, to electrical. All these I won't go through each one of them. They're listed there. So similar to the plumbing, they had to do similar aspects for the electrical side underground. Number 5 here, I'll get to in just a minute. Gear equipment material only, that's the stored material. BIM deals with adding existing work to digital model for review, and the acronym was explained to me, and I didn't write it down, nor can I recall what it is, but that's what it's tied to, and that's why that note's there for $570. Number 5, gear equipment material only. See Brusenhaus invoices and pictures. And gear equipment, because I asked for a definition, because I figured Don would probably ask, Lee, do you know what gear equipment is? Gear equipment is switch gear boxes bringing main power into the new building. And hopefully that's enough of a definition to satisfy your question, Don.
When you get an invoice from them, you've got it broken down to 7 or 8 different line items. Have you got to call that company to find out exactly how many dollars going against each line item? Or have they already got it broken down?
Go ahead.
These are standard pay application forms. Those subcontractors have to list out what they bid and their total value. You can see it there on the left. On C it says schedule value. Make a bill for a percentage of where they're at.
So they've got it all broken out for...
It's already pre-broken out. And all Wade's got to do is, and Tom Johnson, just sit down and go through and say, yeah, that's sitting there, or it's not sitting there, or whatever.
Okay.
We spend between an hour and a half to 2 hours going over each one of these.
I'm sure you will.
And it's mainly Cole from River City, he's the one responsible for putting together these pay applications and going through and making sure these numbers fit within what the required tolerances are. So if Tom or I have a question, you can immediately call whoever that contractor is and say, hey, there's a question about this. Can you shed a little bit more light on this? What's it for? What's it go to? And he does that and does it without hesitation. But for the most part, all of the questions that we have, he's able to readily answer because he knows that we do go through this exercise, and he wants to be able to have these answers in advance of me even presenting it to you. So all these notes I make within this document are my notes that hopefully help explain things to you and whoever may be watching on the outside. Like I said before, the goal is that these don't come before you, especially, $900,000+ that they're just rubber stamped and people think, oh, well, nobody's paying attention to what they're doing. Not the case at all.
Right. These are very, very thorough documents that each contractor or subcontractor, if you will, has to present to the GC
So the 10% that sells
In the
out,
contract,
so that's in case something goes wrong with that particular project. And then at the end of the project, that monies will be paid to the contractor.
It's kind of like, we're not giving them everything until this is done.
Until this is done, make sure that
Make
everything's
sure that
fine.
everything is gonna work, if they have to come back because there's a leak in connection.
Or whatever it may be.
Whatever it may be,
There's
right.
money to fight.
That's right.
So they can't just walk.
That holds leverage over your business.
Right.
So number 5, as this references the invoices and pictures, here are these invoices from Resin House that are attached to Shelley Electric. So this has all the different material that's involved and the detailed billing that goes with it.
You're not going anywhere, Wade. Miss, what'd I tell you?
I would
Okay?
visit.
Yeah, didn't, yeah, okay.
For whatever
Bring that mallet
reason,
over here, Tom.
Pardon me?
Bring that mallet over.
Yeah, we did a couple
We'll
times.
straighten it out.
for whatever reason it disconnects.
And I say that, guys, we're holding stuff held over their head. I'll reiterate too, just to make, YouTube world, one of the reasons that we chose River City is their reputation. When the other sheriffs that I've spoken to that have, built projects, that's not gonna be a problem with River City. If they have a problem, they're there to fix it. So I don't mean to say that we're trying to hold it this.
That's just normal procedure.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
In this money construction work, that's what happens.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yes, right, that's.
It's just truly a normal procedure for any contract,
So-
for a major contract.
Number 5, I flipped the page because these attached documents from Resin House, these are the invoices sold to Shelley Electric, and it goes through, you see here, Coffee County Law Enforcement Center. We go through each one of the, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And there's a number of these that are materials: panel board, enclosure box, panel board, panel board, panel board, panel board. Wall mounting, all the different things that go with that. Here's the picture of all those things being stored, which not every one of these, they give us a picture to go with it, but this is a picture that says, hey, these are the stored materials.
It's a little hard to bill for something if you don't have it on site or proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe me, I ran across it many.
So where do they have that at now, do you know?
Not to this caliber of money.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not unheard of.
I assume this is in their shop, because
Yeah.
there's no space here to.
I was just curious,
store.
I didn't think we had any extra space that I was aware of.
And then I believe this is the last application for payment. Skillman Construction, 114/3/11/40, current payment due 102/880/26. Specific to these items here, you can see demolition 1200, demo Old Sally Port area, storm sewer, water line and fire line, west entrance south, 15,000, vault to building, 13,865.20, hydrant to building, 84,110.20, for total 114/3/11/40. And then you have the 10%. And then these are some additional invoices that go with that. There's part of some of these invoices, I think, that were redone because the city was covering some of the installation. City of Burlington, they had agreed, and then the county was responsible for the rest. So that's what these invoices tie to. I don't know how detailed you want me to go into. This one, unsuitable soils, reference the elevator pits. If you recall, in one of the elevator pits, I believe they ran into foundational rock that they had to dig out, and that was unforeseen, so that's considered unsuitable soil. This has to do with, this is some of the detailed billing that goes into 13.855. I don't want to go back through and go through all of it, but it references out what it is and what the cost is. Labor, hauling, plumbing, equipment. And then DH restoration, a change order that was taken out of inclement weather allowance, and it's referenced re-waterproofing under the slab of one of the elevator pits. If you recall, there was a heavy rain after they did that. I think it was a heavy rain, wasn't it?
It was.
So DH Restoration furnished all labor, equipment, supplies, and materials to re-waterproof elevator pit and sump pit due to damage in hull. And that was right after they had done it, then it heavy rain and they had to redo it. And then this is the job authorization that ties to that. And that's it. Takes a while to go through, but I think it's important that it's done in this way.
I appreciate your detail that way.
Fully explains everything to all of our people that wanna know, so.
I think.
The only way to do it for the dollars we're talking about.
Yes. It's up on the screen. It allows whoever wants to say, how in the heck did they come up with that number? They probably had a blank check and threw a number on it. That's not the case, and this is why it's done this way. And as a taxpayer, that's what I want as well.
I agree.
So, with that being said, I would, unless there's further discussion or questions, I think at the very end there was the bones of a motion. It should be at the very bottom.
You gotta change order number 8 again.
Nope, this is even further down. Above your to-do.
Well, this is. Oh, okay.
And we just need to fill in the blanks. I know Angie kept this so that for future change or applications for payments like this.
You're talking about this change order number 8.
No.
Very last one.
Where it's in the yellow above the to-do.
This has to do
Oh, I
with
see,
this
okay.
presentation, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Are we gonna do this motion on the change order as well?
Nope, that's put on hold for right now because that involves potential Sally Port changes, and we want to wait and see what happens with that because this is a credit and might as well just wait and not do anything with this right now.
Wait a minute, just. It just. Well.
It's not there?
So this would be,
Yeah, I was looking at it and it just like went.
Yeah, it disappeared.
What number is that, payment application number what?
number 5, and then dated April 30th, 2024.
Oh.
That should cover it, unless you have any more questions.
I do not.
Good to meet
So we'll move to approve the applications and move to approve the application and certificate for payment, application number 5, submitted by River City Construction LLC, dated April 30th, 2024, in the amount of $914,208.54 for work completed reference to Coffee County Law Enforcement Center project. Funds come from the jail construction project fund. 111. I so move.
I'll second.
McCurry seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Moving along.
I'm looking for that phone.
Yeah, the dollar amounts will start getting a little higher.
It's amazing when you drive by there and see a door set on the very south side and block going up around it. When you go get it, see, you actually see a door, and the door's LV, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for, FBO, I think.
Taking shape.
Yes, it is.
Have anything else?
So I have 2 20-minute executive sessions. I don't know if you want to plow through or you want to.
Any more? I'm fairly good. I mean, I've got my stuff regulated and figured out, so.
Good.
You don't make it there.
Yeah. We're all good to push on through?
Yeah. I've got crackers yet.
Yeah, that's what I've switched to for whatever reason, Mr. Johnson, and peanut butter crackers
Oh,
just
yeah.
help regulate your blood sugars. I don't know what it does, but it works. So. Anyway.
So if you want to go through the rest of,
Okay.
round table and then come back.
Might go to Angie then.
The only thing I have is for you guys to sign these canvas reports, which we have here. There's final totals have been added to those. And then Tom's already signed, so.
Okay.
Don, this is how the system looks when total accepted is 2, total rejected is 3, and so that suspended is gone now.
Okay.
So,
It didn't make sense the way
you just have to do something temporarily until it's approved, and then we can go in and give it.
Okay, looks good.
Everything else is done, and I didn't have anything else, so.
That was it? Curry?
Not today necessarily, but I do think we need to have some more discussion on this hospital thing as far as, the forgiveness of the loans. And if we have to include Jesse on a Zoom or a phone, like I said, not today, but I do think we need to address that a little further.
Yeah.
And I think we
definitely need to be involved in that.
Well, and that's fine, but we can do that by phone, and set up a time, I think, and I think it's important that we go ahead and get something done on that, one way or the other.
And we can see where he's at next week.
But we need to have all the detailed dollars. We need to request for dollars.
Get a figure,
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly, I know it's over $1 million, but I'm not sure where it's at.
Yeah, it's somewhere between 1.2 and 1.4, I believe. I think Angie could probably get it.
Angie could get them first.
Get it narrowed down. Don, you got anything?
No, I do not, Tom.
Mr. Thompson?
No, sir.
What did you have, you wanted me to find for you?
The final on what the hospital does though, on that. And it don't have to be like today,
Okay.
just put it right away or nothing like that, just.
Their balance.
Cause Steve wants to have some more discussion on that loan forgiveness.
And then something else is on the distribution of the monies from the sale. I mean, I don't know when we would do something with that also, but,
On the property?
On the property.
79.5.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't have to be done today, but I just think that's something that we need to address fairly quickly and.
Can't kick the can all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
my opinion.
mine too.
Well, again, we can have little work session on that too. I mean,
Sure.
once we get all the numbers together,
Right, right. I think that's good.
like I say, maybe see where Jesse's gonna be at this Monday, and if he'd be available, so.
Yep.
I think the next payment is due, what, June 30th, if I remember, so I think as long as we address it before June 30th, you'll be fine.
Is that when the payment is?
Yeah, it's June 30th and December.
Every 6 months, or,
Yep.
yeah, June, December, I believe. So like I say, it's been going on for 20-some years,
Yeah.
so, I mean,
And
my
they've got-
opinion is we haven't missed it yet, so.
And they've got a new administrator coming on, and
Yeah,
anyway,
I don't have anything other than maybe we ought to plan on a work session next Monday about the chamber thing.
it'd be
Or
good.
give some people some time to come up with some ideas, some thoughts.
Yeah.
I think 100,000 budget's pretty light, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think you might as well budget 200,000, you'd probably be more realistic. But, again, that's,
So it'll probably be Tuesday, next week.
Actually,
Oh.
Tuesday.
yeah,
Oh, we have,
thanks.
do we have checks and vouchers on that day also?
Yes.
Yeah.
On Tuesday? Okay. Well then,
Maybe,
we'll just see what the agenda brings.
it's good.
Normally after a holiday, it's not too heavy, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, what,
That's subject to change.
so far, oops, jumped on me.
Getting into a lot of budgets coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have River City and, emergency management update.
Like I said, that Monday after, meeting after a holiday usually isn't too heavy, but we'll see.
And I won't
Anyway,
be
this-
here next Wednesday to help you with anything. I'll have staff who can contact me, but I won't physically be here.
Okay.
Tuesday.
I mean, Tuesday, did I say Wednesday?
Yeah. You did.
Tuesday.
Oh, sorry, you got me confused.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, which day are we meeting?
But I
Which
can
day are
get
we
things
gonna
ahead
meet?
of time. I'll get you the hospital numbers, and I'll give you a sample benefit letter so you can see about what the benefits are.
Oh,
Because it's almost
for
half,
wages,
but not
but-
I was gonna say that. By the time you do
Couple
Social
thousand.
Security and I don't know what county's contribution to capers is, and all that.
And I guess I have a
So-
question on whether the, I mean, on the county employee part of it, I'm just not sure how that fits in. Just not sure how that fits in. Because housing authority isn't county, is that,
They are, but they have their own board.
they have their own board.
But they're not on the county payroll.
They're on-
They have their own budget.
Right, but they're not on the county payroll.
Yeah, so again, some discovery from Wade and some thought
Yeah.
put into it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
no knee-jerk reaction needed on this one.
That's right, that's right, that's right.
Been a while without it, and we try to get it right.
Yep,
Exactly, get it right the first time.
yep.
Yeah.
So do you want to schedule then a work session, like, say, well, you got checks and vouchers, so,
Probably ought to do it the following Monday. I don't think they're in a big toot, they're just planting seeds,
Yeah,
the way I take it.
that's
and-
what I took, Tom.
so 1 o'clock on the 3rd, work session,
Do the following week,
on the 3rd.
okay, rather than next week.
Okay.
Maybe 2 o'clock time to get there, Bill.
Will that be, will that be with the Chamber of Commerce, or will that be with?
We can invite, one or two of them, whatever, but,
Okay. No, I mean,
I mean, maybe a discussion like what we're having now is maybe all it needs too, but I don't.
and maybe that's what we do need to
Get some
just,
further thoughts out of Wade
Yeah.
and what Angie's thoughts on,
sure,
the person making 60,000 cost you this,
yeah,
that type of thing.
yeah.
I'm not too sure we have not had the work session with us only,
And
Okay.
you're right.
until we come up with some thoughts and ideas.
You're right, you're right.
Good way, chance to get some discovery, so.
Yep.
Have them back, you know, the next
Later
week
on,
or
later
so.
on, yeah.
On the
Not
next,
that they couldn't be here, they wanted to be
true, true,
free to be here,
true.
correct?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I suppose the person could do it the same way that Matt was talking today, or it could be done the same way as housing authority. Budget money for them and make their own. That way we wouldn't be paying for a benefit package.
Yeah, that'd be more discussion.
Yeah. Mr. Bowie, digest that for a few weeks.
Yeah, I think we need a little time,
Yeah, we do.
a little time to review.
But I think there'd be.
It may turn into the housing authority coming and requesting to have a similar situation. And right now, if you recall, anything that goes through the housing authority, the director of the housing authority pretty much operates and works independently of this board. In fact, they have their own attorney on retainer that they bring in, so it's sort of an interesting situation that.
Yeah.
True.
Trying to compare the two.
Well, comparing the two, the way this proposal is completely different than what the housing authority is. So that's something we need to take into consideration as well. The operating procedure of the housing authority versus what the proposal would be here, and then the way the housing authority is set up. The housing authority director reports to the board, the housing board, and here, if they were county employed, they would report to
This board.
This board.
well, not the way that job description says it. They report to
True. But if they were a county employee, they would have to report to this
Yeah,
board. That's
yeah.
why I brought up that scenario with them earlier.
Which needs changed, yeah,
It just said
clarified.
in the proposed job description, it says reports to the Chamber of Commerce Board.
So, yeah, that's why we need to come up with your advice on, is it independent like the housing authority, or is it here and we take advice from the chamber? I don't know. I don't know what the best way to do that is.
And those are all things that you probably need to chew on for a few days until that next meeting where you have that work session.
Right. All right. You want an executive session?
Okay. But that's the way.
How long is it gonna be?
20 minutes?
Look, it's already set.
So that timer, in case Wade and Steve, you may not know, that was recommended at one point in time when synchronizing clocks, and sometimes it didn't all synchronize the right way.
Right.
So that kitchen timer helps, and I think when somebody wants to say, well, the commission didn't meet their own time requirements, if there were ever a complaint, that egg timer is something that is additional mitigating evidence, in my opinion, that shows that the county was attempting to operate within the timelines that they set, and that egg timer helps with that, in my opinion.
It does. Yeah, I've got down there before and had it on my stopwatch and forget to hit go. So, yeah, it's
Or
been
if you
helpful.
forget, was it 15 or was it 20?
Yeah, you
Or
can
whatever.
preset it.
So it's preset, ready to go. There's no questions. And then it'll let you know when your time's up.
Right. Wade wants to do executive session.
And what is it regarding?
This executive session, myself and the board, under the attorney-client exception of the Kansas Open Meetings Act, in reference to providing a legal opinion related to county policy regarding human resource issues.
20 minutes.
Is that one I should be in?
Not this particular.
Okay.
You and the board, correct?
Correct.
And you said 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
What he said. So, also move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Are you good? Okay. No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Winner at 12:23 for 20 minutes. Board and county council, what do you Solomon needs. We're back. Action taken.
I think need 15 or 20 minutes more.
Another 20-minute executive session with Wade and the board for same.
I'll move.
Perry moves.
I'll second that.
Thompson seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. We're going at 12:48.
Wade, you moved?
Steve
I'm
moved.
sorry, I moved.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said 15 or 20?
20.
Yeah, nobody's been on it.
We're back. No action taken. Mr. Perry. We are back.
No action taken. This was just an example
Example.
we used to
Yeah.
see how the figures compare.
And when you do it, take the first quarter, because it's a full complete quarter,
Okay,
and just take that times 4.
okay,
And then
okay.
down below, you'll see the benefits, take that times 4. That'll give you an idea, you can figure your,
Okay,
it would be
okay.
about half.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And, well, I guess whenever you're done, I have information for you.
Right. Well, we'll get this one over with. You have another one?
Yep, but you can go ahead.
Oh, what you got?
I just had a quick thing. I looked up the hospital's loan repayments, and as of right now, they've paid back $510,016.
Out of 1.5.
The total, yeah, that was the final that you guys, because they forgave part of it, so,
We gave half of it to start with, is
Yeah.
that right?
yeah.
So what's the balance then?
Let's see.
Be under $1 million then?
Yeah, it'd be just a smidge under $1 million.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yep.
Back to you, my friend.
Last thing I have is a 15-minute executive session. Myself and the board, attorney-client, for a legal advisory opinion in reference to county policy and restructuring related to the table of organization.
Just you and the board,
It's 15 minutes long.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Can you say that again regarding legal advisory?
I'd say a legal advisory opinion related to county policy and restructuring of the county table of organization. It's the board table of organization.
To the county commission?
Yep.
For 15 minutes.
We could probably do it in 10.
Let's do 15. So I'll move.
I'll second.
Gary seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. We're going at 1:16. We are back. No action taken. Anything else, Mr. Bowie?
I don't know if it needs to be dealt with today. It may need to be dealt with at some point. It's under save for later, and it looks like Angie had put together the bare bones of a motion, but Tom, if you're gone, then we have the chairman and the vice chairman gone, and who serves as the pro tem chairman in your absence during this time.
That's right.
So, just,
Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, I see, okay. Yeah. Shut mine off, but I read it before. We need a motion to do that?
I think it'd be good to have it as something in the minutes, so if there's an issue.
Whoop, hold on, I just, sorry. Okay.
Well, I'll make the motion in the absence of the chairman and vice chairman, appoint Wade Thompson as pro tem chairman.
I second. That was a motion. I second.
Yep. Discussion. You're outnumbered 3-1. Don, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good choice.
Hope it never happens, but
Yeah.
in anticipation.
This covers this case.
Well, I guess I'll just put it out there. I'm possibly looking at some back surgery here before too long. I was hoping to put it off till Mr. Knight got back, but I can't do it. I don't think I can do it, and I should be able to be available via Zoom or phone or something after the first week, so just FYI.
Okay, great.
Something I gotta, like I said, I was hoping to wait, but it's not gonna let me.
You gotta take care of yourself.
That's right.
Anyway.
And accepting paying bills, I mean, we wouldn't necessarily, let's say one of us three gets ill. You don't have to have a meeting, do you necessarily?
If there ain't three of you, you can't have one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we intend to, we all intend to, but.
I think it'll be a unique situation, but
Yeah.
first time for everything.
Yeah.
There's many counties out there that only have 3 commissioners, so I'm sure they run into issues on a regular basis.
Yeah. Right.
But
I just, like I say, I was able to put it off.
There's probably half the counties in the state only have three commissioners.
Yeah, I get asked why we have 5 all the time, and I was told when I got here it was because of when Wolf Creek went online, the excess amount of money generated the excess concern, if you will.
Uh-huh.
To do a 5-member board, just because.
That's all I have.
All right. Anybody else?
Just Memorial Weekend next Monday, so you'll find checks and vouchers on Tuesday.
Regular meetings on Tuesday and checks and doctor yes. Well, that being said, we'll adjourn at 1:37. So